last night to see if he was barefoot. Is that still the case? Is he barefoot? Because I know on Facebook somebody posted a picture of these could be his shoes, or is that so he is presumed to be barefoot at this point?
What I can say is that his mom says all of his shoes are accounted for at the house. I'm not going to say that he's barefoot.
All right.
Allegedly!
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here coming at you with another raw narrative. Here's a brief disclaimer for tonight's show. Let's watch.
That's ignorant! Allegedly, that's ignorant! Ignorant.
Judgment, Aslı.
Oi, you read my thoughts. You've got the shinin.
You mean shining?
Shh, you wanna get sued?
Judgment, Aslı.
You just use that shin of yours to call me and I'll come a-running. But don't be reading my mind between 4 and 5. That's Willie's time.
Hey, yo, boss. I love it when he does that.
Let's watch.
Don't get me back to good bullshit.
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here coming at you with another raw narrative, and it's so good to see all of you guys today. It's so good to see all of you, and I'm going to go back up through the comments just to shout everybody out, and I hope you're having a great weekend so far. Saturday, good to see you, Red Eye. Thank you so much, and I have a special thanks to post for you guys, you and Bubby, for the Cash Apps. Thank you so much. I tried to say thank you on there and I don't know how to do that. So thank you so much, Bobby Brunsman, too, for becoming a member. Welcome to the Dragon Tribe. I also saw Denise. And Bobby, please, if you're tired, just watch the replay. I know it's tough. And thank you so much for reaching out to the FBI. I mean, we all have to do our part to stand up against what's going on. You know, like the title says, we have more questions than answers. And I felt confident that at the time that they did decide to do an update, that they would hopefully give us a better one than they did, or at least get the information right? So thank you, Lori, for hitting the like button. Ann Reynolds, it's good to see you. I heard you got your chair all comfy and ready, and that's wonderful, wonderful news. And GA64, good to see you. I also see Kiki. Good to see you, Kiki. Thanks for being here. What a day, right, guys? It's been a really long day. Lots of stuff buzzing about Sebastian Rogers. So I shared a couple of lives that I was able to go in and kind of, sneak in the bushes and without saying hi. But Kiki, yours was one of them. I just came in, I was listening. But I am working behind the scenes. Seclusion works. I'm so sorry. Bonjour to you. I'm glad to have you in here, and I completely understand where you're coming from. And I hope that you can find the peace and relaxation that you need. If you need anything at all, please reach out to my email. If you just want to say hello, or feel free to come in and say hi. It breaks my heart for you. You're one of our good friends, and everyone gave me wonderful and positive feedback about the live that you did with me. So I appreciate you being here. And hello to Kiki. Thank you for the green hearts. I also see Michelle. Good to see you, Michelle, and Kelly Holcomb. Good to see you. Also, let's see, who else did I shout out? Nancy Fleming. Hello. Good to see you. And Detroit Rock City's in the house. Good to see you. Detroit Rock City and Kathy Bartholomew. Good to see you. Lots of green hearts in the chat, guys. Thank you. And aloha to JH. Good to see you, JH. And SI Officer, hello. Thank you for the green hearts. Ann Brock, nice to see you. And CC, our lovely CC is here. Thank you for being here. You guys are all so wonderful. I wish you all the best too, Seclusion Works. You are one of the rare people that is just so intelligent and so smart and funny, just all wrapped up into one. And we always enjoy you being here. Adam Forever 21, another one of our friends. Good to see you, and our beautiful, perfectly imperfect boy mom. And let's see, who else? BJ Boop, good to see you. And Joan, nice to see you. They did. Joan says, I live near Hendersonville. FBI had a plea for tips on our local news tonight. That's fantastic, Joan. I would love to see that. I guess I missed that. I know. SI Officer, we're also passionate. We are also passionate about finding Sebastian, even people that are, maybe not our favorites, right? But, oh, Hypnotic Drifter. Yeah, that was disgusting, wasn't it? Somebody sent me like a little clip. I know. That's terrible. That's why I said, it's not a game. It's not a joke. Look, Sebastian's case is very serious to me. I don't take it with a grain of salt. I don't take it lightly. There is some lightheartedness here, right? And you'll always see that from me, just kind of trying to make you guys laugh. Because look, the content that I push out can be real shit content, where, just to be honest, we're talking about horrible, horrible people who would do horrible, horrible things and think it's funny, in my opinion. Yeah, and I don't pay attention to those people, but people will send me like some outrageous things from time to time, or I'll catch it on Chronicles of the Shady. I watch over there sometimes, because I like Shady. Hey, Brenda Calvert, good to see you. But it is stressful. It's stressful. It takes a lot out, the worry, right? For people who care. I mean, yeah, there's people that probably think it's, a big joke or whatever. I wouldn't expect that from parents, right, of a missing child. It's not about you. It's about finding Sebastian. It's about finding Sebastian. Oh, yeah. The McCoys went to Hendersonville searching, saw their live earlier today. Yeah. Now, was that footage from, I was wondering about that. Was that footage from when they went the last time, or was that footage from recently, I wonder? And safe travels to them. Safe travels to anyone going to look for Sebastian. I love watching when people have the camera out and I can see the area, because obviously I don't know the area. So I do like watching that. Let's play that guess that channel, right, CC? I mean, we already know if it's super distasteful where it was, that's odd. Oh, okay, Kiki says the McCoys have some other live scheduled. Well, good. Anybody that's talking about Sebastian, look, we had a huge buzz about Sebastian today. I was really excited for that. Again, some things I agree with, some things I don't, right? And I mean, I'm going to be that way. And I hope you guys are that way too. Even if it's something that comes from me and you don't agree with me, definitely send me an email or say, hey, Lady Freedom, look at this clip. I think you might have got this wrong, and I'm open to it. I always am. Good to see you, Blessed. I hope that, I hope I don't scare people away if I get angry like I was the other day. But look, this press release, there were so many things wrong with it right off the bat, right? We pointed out the dates being mixed up. We, are wrong. Sebastian's wasn't 14 when he went missing. He was 15. We caught that they were speaking of Sebastian in the past tense, which was the most disturbing in my opinion. Hey, Kiki, welcome back. So, yeah, it does sound lovely, doesn't it, Kelly? I think we should all take more time out of our lives to do that every now and then, guys. I mean, that's why I kind of take a night off here and there to just kind of recharge my batteries and, just kind of relax. But it's hard to relax when we have a missing child out there. That's why I guess I don't understand Chris and Katie in the way that they act. I think it's disgusting, Seclusion works. I love you. Aw. Hey, let them think what they want, right? Give them something to talk about. Hypnotic Drifter says, respectfully, I do not put others' creators and names in chat for respect for the host. Thank you. Perhaps she can share the trash. Absolutely disgusting. I know. I don't want to give them any airtime. I know, because it's so gross. It was. I was actually trying to relax a little bit before the show, and some friends of mine, they have a bunch of kids that go down there, and I was talking with her, and she said that she was watching the show and felt really, really good. Shout out to my friend here. She knows who she is, and really, she had really nice, sweet things to say about it and everything. And we were joking around. And then I heard my phone ping because I had my earbud in, and I kept my phone up because the boys were playing football, and they're chucking the football as far as they could. And I was like, could you not, I was in the hot tub to begin with. I was like, could you guys not overthrow that so bad? Because then there was another little kid in the hot tub with me, and I was like, he's either I'm going to get hit in the head, Marsha, or in the face, or this little one who's so adorable is going to get hit. And I'm trying to make it so you don't get hit. And, yeah, but it's fun. The kids get wild down at the pool. They had me cracking up. So I was laughing. She's like, my kids are down here. And I'm like, oh no, they make me laugh. And I said, they told me to get out of the danger zone. And I said, I thought I did get out of the danger zone. I was in the hot tub, but I had a fun night, but I was relaxing. And then that popped in, right? Like a ding. And then, somebody check this out. And I'm like, oh, that was ugly, and it did come from the Clue McNasty channel. And I mean, I wouldn't say it, but they're proud of themselves. I mean, they're proud of it, Hey, Jen, good to see you. So yeah, I was just like, oh, woof. I went from having the best time to having the not so best time, because I was like, who does that? What are we doing when we have a stepdad making fun of a biological dad in a missing child's case. And this is why I say that the circus was created by the Proud Feet. It really is, because look, that's something to get everybody, all up in arms, right? And it's like, well, maybe not everybody, but a lot of people. I don't think it's funny. I think it's so rude, and oh, good. Joan says the Channel 2 news. I like the Channel 2 news over there. Guys, I'm starting to know their news people better than my own news people. I really am. I'm like, oh, look, it's Caitlin Quisenberry. Like, how the hell do I know their news people so well, They asked for tips to be called in to them. Fantastic. Gave their $50,000 reward, but did not mention any other LE. Yeah, well, look, I think law enforcement is law enforcement. I try to be diplomatic, see how well it works out for me. Because then I have to come up here and I'm like complaining and, bitching and complaining. Hypnotic True, I probably don't need to see it. I'm sure it's disgusting. Yeah, Adam Forever 21. It does. It's just going to get people riled up. And that's what they're trying to do, right? He got time with Faith, I guess. And now he's coming out to do his shit before she comes back for their Christmas, together. I'm guessing their parenting plan stays the same year to year. Usually they do. It's just terrible. Thank you, Lori. It's just terrible. Brenda says, "Your Lady Freedom, your passion to find Sebastian and that lousy piece the FBI put out." It was a puff piece, for sure. For sure. Yeah, fired me up, and I made other comment on Dan Bongino's ex post asking him to look into why TBI and Sumner County Sheriff's Office was lying to the FBI. I would love to know that, Brenda. I would love to know that. What is going on there, right? What could possibly make them do that? Except for laziness, right? Or just basically because they hold jurisdiction. If I was to probably think of it in a logical way, I would say that, right? If I'm to think of it, with my tinfoil hat, I might say, gosh, that's corrupt. Or, who's lying to who there? What's going on? I mean, excuse me for asking questions. When you guys put something out like that, it doesn't look good. As we know, this case has been extremely frustrating. I'm starting to give it a break, but I will not give up. I won't stop. I'm just waiting for someone new, positive news, if and whenever it happens. I'm thinking that too, SI officer. I mean, something's got to give at a certain point, right? It just has to. There's no reason for any of this. And it is fuckery. Kelly says, I watched the beginning of the Hatfield, so I didn't see the end to see all of the bites. That's awful. Oh, is it turkey mites or something? Turkey mites, I think it is. Oh, ugh. See what? That's another reason I don't like going out in the woods like that, like hardcore in the woods, is because of the bugs. Jen, thank you so much for sending the super chat. Jen says, thank you, Lady Freedom, for having such a great heart and covering Sebastian. All XOXO to you too, Jen. Thank you. Thank you guys for all you do. You and Jeff are awesome. Your videos are amazing. I love your music in the beginning. I love watching everything that you put out there. And I do try to catch all of the good stuff, right? Like, I'm always trying to catch people's stuff. I'm like, okay, what do they got over here? Because I like listening to what other people are thinking. It helps me kind of process some of my own stuff, or maybe it might sway my own thinking, like, because sometimes you can just get in a vacuum of your own thinking, right? Same thing when it comes to following creators that you enjoy watching versus the ones that you don't. Now, there are some creators out there that have differences of opinion than me, and I'll still watch them because I think they care, right? At least they care. At least they're trying to figure this out. So I do that. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I just try not to be swayed too much by my own vacuum or by everything. I try to consider all of it, right? And it's the same thing when it comes to like politics. I do the same thing there. You know, I watch this news source, I watch this news source, I might catch this other one. You know, I just kind of hop around. But it's that way I hear different points of view and not just one, right? Or, you know, not everything that I agree with, because there may be something more that I haven't thought of. And so I try really hard to do that. And the news that we receive regardless, I'm sure it's not going to be happy, although I wish it would be, but I'm just hoping for something new instead of all the negative nonsense they want to feed. Well, and that's part of it though, because nobody that cares about finding Sebastian is going to be okay with watching Chris do the same things that he used to do, right? Like, whenever I saw him go on Cluminati and do that the first time with the Sling Blade impression, I mean, obviously it was staged, just like this, because, I mean, she's a really bad actress. I mean, just because you put your face in the camera and move your eyeballs back and forth doesn't mean that you didn't know what was going on. I mean, it was very poor acting, in my opinion. Definitely not Oscar worthy. But I mean, on top of that, you know, you're expecting us, I guess, to believe it, or maybe you're doing a really bad job of acting because you know that no one's going to buy the bull crap. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't care. I think it's awful, and it's playing games when they could be out searching. They are militarily trained in search and rescue efforts, right? So why are they busy playing around on the internet? It doesn't make any sense. It's actually really, really gross and disgusting, disturbing, absurd, especially when you're attacking the father of the missing child, who actually got ill from being out in the sun. And then, of course, right now, I say it's like school time sicknesses are going around, right? All the kids are getting back together in school and they're all passing germs around. Then they come home from school and then they pass it to the family, right? Or you might be out, you know, somewhere at a family function and everybody gets sick from one little one, right? And it happens. It's that time of the year. And so, but to me, it's disgusting. It shows CP's lack of maturity and his disgusting personality. It does. It's Kiki. He just wants to be the center of attention again. See, it's not about Sebastian. It's about Chris being the center of attention, which is very disgusting and disturbing, right? It is. It is. He actually has, in my opinion, a personality disorder. And it just proves it, like you said. It does prove that. I mean, it's called narcissism, and you can go look it up. And Chris matches right in there with all of the, he fits the criteria, right? He checks all the boxes. I'm hoping the FBI just on a strategy and they see it all and will click the cuffs soon, and Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers will be found. I agree, Adam, Forever 21. Their mentality is just repulsive. The whole family, it's ridiculous, immature, and evil. And they bully a boy. They bully a young boy in their family, right? Hey, couponing. Good to see you, Super Sleuth. It's terrible. And I don't find it funny. I have a really good sense of humor, guys. And I can be immature in my sense of humor. I think it was in Josh's chat one night we were talking about farts and I was laughing my butt off. You know, you would have thought, you know, I was like a second grader. But I don't think it's funny. Oh, good, Brenda. You got Elon Musk to like your comment. Good. Good deal. Or it's one of his people, but hey, that's a start. We need people to understand that Sebastian's still missing and he's been missing, right? Hey, Scranton Strangler, good to see you. Are you talking about War Eagle Short with Clue and CP? Somebody sent me like a what do they call it? Screen recording of it. Yeah, because it was pretty brief. Like, and all I saw was like Clue's face in the camera, and she's like, "Who's there? Who's there? Am I getting served?" Right? I don't have like the eyeballs that pop out of your head. I have the almond shaped eyes, right? So a little bit different. I'm not going to do a good impression of it. And she's like, who is it? Am I getting my paper served? I can't wait to get served or something. It's so weird. They're very happy. Again, to like, even with my stalkers, they were really, really happy to like get the paperwork and then like brag about it online. And it's just it's criminal behavior is what it is. That's what criminals do. They think it's funny. They think it's cute. They think they're badasses. But really, it's more badass to do the right thing, in my opinion. Because I have voiced so much disappointment, I hope that prove us wrong. Yeah, I would love to be proved wrong. Oh gosh, SI officer all day long, please prove me wrong. Right? Produce Sebastian, just alive and well. If you put him in a school, then bring him home. That's another thing they want us to believe lately, which I don't know what to believe. Well, they all run together too, Michelle. Oh, that's nice too. Brenda says, I emailed Megan Kelly and asked her to look into this case. We just need to keep on spreading Sebastian's story and bring awareness. I agree. And, don't take no for an answer. We really do need to make it known that we're not going to stop, right? So you're going to pay attention to what we're saying because we need you to. It's not only that we want you to pay attention, we need you to pay attention. We absolutely need them to pay attention. Oh, Kiki says she's worn out. Oh my goodness, Kiki, I bet. So you had to travel for an away game? Oh my goodness. Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom says, ironic to see CP pop up. I'm starting to see if he comes out and acts a fool when the pressure is turned up. Right. Yeah, that's the first thing he does. Right? And it's not like a funny parody about Sebastian, or finding him or anything. I mean, even though I don't see why you would need to do that, I think maybe you need to go and put your search boots on and look for your son. Katie. I'm not talking about Chris. I don't think he deserves that title as a stepdad. I don't think he deserves it at all. I'm an astrologer, so I try to go with the energy around. And if it's going against Texana, I'm going to flow with that. Yes, coming soon. We're going to be doing a live about Texana, guys. And we got some juicy information, I think. And I also think that it's odd of this lady. That lady is, like Josh says, her cheese slid off her cracker. And I don't know, it keeps slipping off of there. Hey, Show Poodles, good to see you. Hey, I emailed you back. I'm sorry it was a short one, but thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's disrespectful and cruel, Lori. It is. It is. Look, if anything, they should be working together. But we've been there and done that already, right? We already fell for that crap once. Yeah, Kiki, it brought me thinking about you and a couple other families that were saying we all got sick. And I'm like, oh, I remember those days. Brenda says, very nervy. If you ask me for him to open up his mouth at all. I don't understand why he doesn't either be quiet or, look for, because here's my thing. Look, if they think that Sebastian is somewhere out there, all right, they think that they still are under the assumption or operating under the assumption that Sebastian walked off. And I'm talking about Chris and Katie too. Then wouldn't you be scouring that radius around your house? Because look, I invite anybody to take their shoes off, right? Get down to your bare feet. And then I want you to walk around your block. And if you live in the city, I hope you don't get glass or something in your feet because of this. But I'm going to say, you wouldn't make it very far. So we're expected to believe that Sebastian is out in the woods and actually made it out into the woods far enough without any shoes on. The rocky terrain that he would have to go over in Hendersonville, Tennessee, that surrounding area, he wouldn't have gotten far, guys. So maybe they start in a 1 mile radius around the house, because here, how about they do this? Since Chris likes to, play games so much, why doesn't he get down to his bare feet and then try to walk the radius around where he thinks Sebastian may have went to? Because he's the one that said Sebastian's in the woods. He said that to the Hatfield and McCoys October of 2024. Go ahead, Chrissy. Let's go see you do it. I want to see you walk around with no shoes on and look for where you think Sebastian is and see how far you get. You're not going to get very far with your bare feet. You're not going to get very far with your bare feet at all. And with all that energy that you use running your mouth about Seth, maybe, just maybe, you can put that into finding Sebastian, since you know where he is, right? Sick fuck. They made me sick if he understood Sling Blade's reasoning. I know, it does make me sick. Well, it makes me sick to make fun of somebody else that you think isn't as perfect as you are. Disgusting. But that's who Chris likes to pick on, right? Is people who are smaller than him, women, right? It is mental disturb. They're mentally disturbed. They're demented. Like, demented is a word that comes to mind to me. As our officer, I agree. Yo, Mama Bear. Good to see you. Bonnie's Journeys. Good to see you. The ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. And it takes away from us finding Sebastian. That's what it does. It's a distraction. It's just... Well, and you, if you really thought that seclusion works, that's my thing. If they really, really think that, I'm not even going to argue with somebody like that if they're out there looking for him, right? But if I was a mother and I thought that my child was somewhere out there and he was barefoot, I'd be looking all around my house. There would be nothing stopping me from looking all around that area. Katie has never done that, not once. Not once. This is what Katie did, because she's on camera doing it. This is what Katie did because this is her on camera doing it. Now, please tell me, Katie, why is your window rolled up if you're looking for Sebastian? Oh, that's a good idea, Brenda. Everybody in government needs to know. Something smells foul in Denmark, right? Sumner County Sheriff's Department, LE, TVI, etc. I believe that, Mama Bear. Please, Lord Jesus, bring Sebastian home safe to his dad. It's gross. It's a flaw. It's a major flaw, Adam Forever 21. And a person like Sling Blade, right, who that movie was depicted about, can't help it. But Chris can help it, because personality disorders, once you know about it, you can get help. But their ego is too large. So they don't even realize that there's something wrong with them. And I'm praying for that too, Bobby, all the time. Every single day I'm wondering, hopefully today will be the day, right, where Sebastian is home with his dad. Because it's very apparent that that those two don't give a shit about Sebastian. They're not out there looking for him. They're not out there talking about him. Nothing was brought up about Sebastian today. It was all about talking shit. Disgusting. Nasty creeps. Disgusting, nasty creeps. I love you too, SI officer. And you guys that are in here always looking for Sebastian, wanting to know information, talking about it, the case. Aw, Miss Ann, I'm sorry to hear that. And we do love Sebastian. Thank you, Seclusion Works. We do. We love Sebastian. And when we see something like that, we understand that they can't possibly love him if they're treating him like that. Not saying a damn word when you got 1,000 people in her chat, but you can't even say a damn word. I wonder if they even checked their phones, Apple Watches, etc., or if they said they did to shut us up. I mean, Brenda, I know. And that's a big one. That is a big one. And then they debunked or tried to, which, I mean, they did a really shitty job. Like, the second that I saw the wrong timestamp, I was like, oh, these idiots. It's really sad that we're smarter than they are. That's really sad to me. That doesn't make me feel good. It makes me sad because I'm like, oh shit, this is the people who we're having to rely on. His feet are so big he won't have to take very many steps to walk a mile radius. Perfectly a perfect boy, Mom. Bam. I mean, come on. CP would not like to make it 5 seconds in the ring with dog in my I'd love to see that, GA64. Oh my gosh. I don't think he'd make it in the ring with many people. He's all talk and no do. I know, SI officer, I know. Adam Forever 21 says guilty. Yes, guilty is written all over this man's behavior in many ways. Definitely criminal, complacent behavior. Right, and the FBI does nothing about it. Not a damn thing. And they're aware, obviously, if they're putting out a press release. That's pretty sad. You know? Brenda, early in the investigation, I called in a tip about the switch. They hung up on me. It's terrible. Or you get the runaround. Just like we talked about the other day, where there was like, where the people at the Texas Roadhouse were saying that when they would try to call, it was routed to an old number to someone else's desk that worked the cold case unit. That's not the first time I've ever heard that. That was the first time that I heard this correspondence, right? That was shared on X and we went over it. But that's not the only time that I've ever heard of somebody saying that that's exactly what happened to them. And then having to go through all the different prompts, you know, like you're calling the old school phone company, you know, because something showed up on your phone bill or whatever. It was too high. She was following the script with her little JOV to school while Chris is calling the authorities. Yeah, she lied about that too. She said that they were both on a 3-way call, right? So we all know how 3-way calls work, right? So you, me, and we call someone else, right? So there's 3 people on there, that 3-way call. And, the little jog. I got you, Mama Bear. And then she tells everybody that Chris told her to head home. Why would Chris have to tell you to head home when you're on the 3-way call and you can hear what the third party's saying, right? Just a question. There's a lot of holes in your story. You suck. You suck at lying. You suck at doing whatever nefarious crap that you did to your son, in my opinion. You suck. And your husband is a horrible disgrace. And if my husband was acting that way when my child was missing, he would never act like that again. There you go, Chris. You want to talk about that? Oh, if Seth opens his mouth, he'll never open it again. Yeah, if you acted like that with me, you wouldn't do it again. How's that for you? Sorry excuse for a human. Oh my, I hope your guys' iron infusions go well. My goodness. The whole little circle of fines he keeps are disgusting. They need to be investigated. The SF minions, they are. Yeah, they do. They really do. Because for them to allow all of that crap, they do need to be investigated because they may have guilty knowledge after the fact. Absolutely. It's so sick, Detroit. It's so sick. It is so disgusting. Who does that? For real. Get a fucking hobby. At the very least, what are you doing? You know? Good, Mama Bear. I'm glad to hear it. They're friends. Yeah, CC. I pray the same thing, Ann Reynolds, and I trust that'll happen when he's found. Thank you. She says, I pray that Sebastian comes home to Seth and not KP. Hey, WV Holla Girl. Good to see you. Good to see you, Shadow. Welcome in, you guys. Hey, Cinderella. Thank you for the green hearts. All right, guys. We're going to watch something tonight. Bobby the Neighbor talking to Stephen Crabtree and UA Crimson. And I've played this before on the channel, but I think we need to watch it again. Because I think it's important to remember what the neighbors are saying, right? The neighbors that saw the footage themselves. So without further ado, let's check it out.
The people next door, I told you that they didn't think, because it's an older couple, they've got cameras on the front corner and back corner of their house, and they told TBI and Sheriff's Office Department their camera wasn't working. Well, they came back 2 weeks later and went around, and I told you they started the search all over again, literally from ground one. They knocked on their door and asked them, do you guys have cameras? They said yes, but they're not working, and the guy looked at them and said, that's okay, can we see it anyway? And sure enough, their cameras actually were working, and there is a black blob with something thrown over the person's shoulders, walking in between their houses. They carried something over their shoulders, over that ditch. And I'm telling you right now.
All right, guys, I just want to pop in really quick here and just say that Bobby just said that she saw someone carrying someone else over their shoulders in going into that big ditch, right? And anybody that's watched people drive past the Proudfoot residence can see that ditch, right? And also Pincho Paxton did a video where he lightened up the flashlight video and showed how deep the ditch is and kind of gave us some perspective on that. So just wanted to pop in and say that.
Now, Katie Proudfoot being in the military, that woman is strong. I guarantee you she carried him over that and probably gave him to Chris standing on the other side. Because there was something that walked across in between those houses. But here's the thing that I wanted you to hear that he said to me when you were at your truck getting your other phone and everything. I said, I don't understand the whole timestamp thing. And he said, yeah, that was really weird to me too. I don't know why it wasn't working. And I said, what do you mean you were surprised it wasn't working? And he said, well, it was working Saturday. And I'm like, oh. And he said, and it was working Tuesday. He said, and it's only 2 hours off. So it was working the day before and the day after, and it was only 2 hours off.
Yeah, see, that's the weird part, man. I'm telling you, it's because whoever this was had a zipper.
Oh, I know. I hear that. I guarantee you it was like me.
That's why I was going to bring that up. It's a pocket. It's called a zipper. I can count every camera around me within probably about 150 to 200 feet.
Well, and that's why I called you as soon as I got home, because after he said I had to go to a doctor appointment, but as soon as I got home.
I stated it from a news that was causing us any federal interference on the site over in Columbia, Tennessee, and he had this damn thing. You know, it's like you can't technically legally man.
That's what I wondered if it was really.
It's almost like a jammer.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this then, since you know more about this than I do. Is it possible that if you do use those things to stop? Okay, that's what I was going to ask you, because adding on to this, the neighbor across the street from me, I had gone over to her house one day to do something, and I couldn't get them to answer the door. And finally, I called her, and I'm like, "Why are you not answering your door?" And she said, "I didn't hear anything." And I'm like, "Girl, I'm over here pushing your ring button thing." She has a ring doorbell. Now, they had footage that they turned in, but there wasn't anything on it. Nothing on it. I said, "Why isn't your doorbell, your ring thing working?" And she said, "Well, I don't know. It was working when this whole thing happened. Her camera just stopped working out of nowhere. The people beside them, same thing. Both of their ring cameras had gotten burned out. Can it do that?" Yes, absolutely. So I'm just wondering who else had that same problem. You can just buy it. If I put this on, I can literally activate the access to my phone. Okay, so is it possible then that if she had one of those, can you interrupt cameras or whatever for a period of time and then they turn back on? That would be questionable. I don't know. I wouldn't answer that one just because I know on the RF side, right, because it's a frequency thing, and it's just like your cameras work off I think it's like 2.5 to 3.7 gigahertz. That signal depends on it. If it's pushing more power than the frequency allowed to be received by the said output device that is going on, like whether it has an RBS sensor in it, whatever it has, it could try, yes. Okay, but what I'm saying though is like if she had one of those, knowing that they had a camera at their house where the car was sitting, could she have interrupted like the times, or interrupted enough to not shut the camera off, but interrupted enough to stop the timer, the timestamp, and then it kind of start working again? Because he said it was working the day before, and then out of nowhere it just starts working again, and it was only stopped for 2 hours. The timestamp is only 2 hours off. I would say yes. I would say yes. I hate to say anything. I can look into it. I guess I'm just saying, like, is it possible for that? I mean, that just seems to be totally not random, considering what happened. My thing is here's my thing on all this. The fact that I heard these people for all fucking years say what you said, and I'm like, dude, he's a little different. Like, he can tell he's kind of agitated with everything. Well, because we're just so fed up with it. I mean, we just keep getting, and like he said, his phone, you know, he just kept getting phone calls. And of course, he's frustrated because, like he told me, he said, you know, I even started telling the detectives what I saw, and they argued with me and basically try to convince me that what I saw was not right. I said, they did the same thing to me. I told your wife that. And he said, I know, she's so frustrated too. It's like no matter what we tell them and no matter what we're seeing, they don't want to hear it. We don't know what we don't know. I think that, I don't know, I'm interested to see what Chris just texted me. He says he's doing something with the live show and everything. So, I mean, he's putting it together. He was putting it together after when I called him after you were doing the drone footage, and I had called him as soon as I got home to tell him what you and I had discovered.
What? No, she has a black Chevy SUV, like she calls Black Beauty. But where she said she was back in Florida today. But she wasn't at her house, and she didn't have Delilah, like her little dog, with her. So
Well, that's not. I know that she drives. I do know that I've seen it. The dark Chevrolet Equinox.
Yeah, that black. Yeah, that's the black one that I'm talking about.
Yeah, I've seen that one kind of through her when she first came in the first time. But I'm just wondering because everybody knows that's what she drives. Is it possible that she rented a car Because I'm telling you, when we were out there talking, there was a white GMC Terrain, older model GMC Terrain, that drove up, down, and around, and I was like, where's the car going? Because it didn't recognize that. I've never seen that before. But we're getting so much traffic now again between her and his reward. We got all kinds of people coming through here again.
I was sitting there, and after he was left, Dick was sitting out there and talked to him for a minute. And there's like 4 people in here on the road that was just turned around.
Yeah, they're just coming through here to see what's going on. Like, okay, great. Thanks. Run through. Please. Go away.
And they at the front of the kid was
no kidding. I'm like, at what point do we need to, like, could y'all please leave us alone? Just leave us alone. I'm so done with all this crap. I think that's the thing is a lot of people are just done with all this.
Well, I'm not back there. I didn't mean to catch you off guard. You live there, and I'm like, no, I'm not. So if anybody's going to know if she's back a little later, I'm like, sure, Bobby.
Well, I got home, like I said, I got home and I jumped in the shower really quick because I had this appointment and I was soaking wet with sweat out there talking to you guys. And then it was hot. It was like stupid hot. And then I got on the phone with Chris and we were talking for a little bit. And then my kids are all home and we were doing all that kind of stuff. I have not been outside. So if she came back through here with her car, I didn't see that. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention. But who is the other person? Who else is on the phone with me? Who is this? That's Chris.
Yeah.
Chris. Am I supposed to know that?
Yeah.
How? Why?
Because she's not being the bad one.
No, I know, but like you say that, like, yeah, I'm like supposed to know that. How?
You don't think about it. You watch TikTok, right?
I don't. That's what I told you. I told you I don't have TikTok. I have to look you up and find you. Well, I was like,
You don't get to nothing.
I do watch YouTube.
I'm on YouTube. I don't have my own channel on YouTube. I'm not on like. I just like
You need to.
shoot. No, I'll stick to.
Do you do TikTok as well? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm on TikTok. I was when Riley was Riley Strain was missing. I was undercover in the homeless encampments.
Oh, that's scary.
Yeah, I mean.
You should hear her fucking story.
Oh, that's a little. That's like super creepy, man.
No, she got balls and shit. You think you know you said you have got balls?
Yeah.
You got some balls on.
Yeah, but there's a big difference between vocalizing things, saying things, versus physically doing things. Because physically doing it and being out in the field doing it is like total loss. But I think Betty has
mental she has a mental disorder balls. Like
she's a narcissist. She's a psychopathic narcissist. She wants everybody to feel sorry for her because she came out here and worked her butt off. I'm gonna tell you something. Our neighborhood, I personally called the police on her. Personally myself. And several of the other neighbors around here were throwing a fit about her just nonchalantly driving through, taking videos, and then getting out of her car and walking out of her neighborhood without asking a single person, stapling these papers, the flyers, to the pole, which it's great. I'm glad that you're trying to put the word out, but did you have asperse? And then ironically, a big storm comes through and literally blows every one of them off.
Well, here's the problem. It's one thing to do it for general somebody that cares. Like, Kristen, when you're out there posting all this shit, but she was up there doing it. I wouldn't post it out there while I'm searching.
I don't know that that's doing anything. I just don't see how posting flyers in their neighborhood.
yeah, she did that. She did that for like it wasn't for she did that to harass them. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah, that's all it was harassment and just to say. So
A middle finger, like, hey, try and stop me.
what she's doing right now is a middle finger where she's using whoever's family.
Yes.
She's using somebody like that. And I said that to Tim Bailey, and I said, you just gonna let this happen? Like, she's literally making y'all look stupid.
That's what bothers me, is, you know, and that's why I called you earlier to be like, you know, I don't agree with how law enforcement handled this in the very beginning. And I don't.
When I went up there earlier, though, when I was on the phone with you and I went to church and I was talking, they said what you said. They said, look, man, there's not much we can do unless she specifically mentions them fully on. And as far as the neighborhood, he's like, we can put one of those security cameras in. He said, at the end of the day, like you said, it's not going to stop people from coming in there.
No, and they're not going to do it. And I'm really kind of frustrated because even when I called the sheriff's department last night on this, was it last night? Not before last. Not before last. When we had this weird black truck come through the neighborhood, it was completely blacked out, which really creeped me out. The officer came up and talked to me, and I was telling him what was happening. Of course, he found a person, and they claimed to have car issues, which doesn't make any sense if you're going to be completely blacked out. Like, that's weird. But anyway, so we were talking, and I told him, I said, I feel like nobody cares about us. It's all about protecting the people who are doing this. Like, you know, I'm all for, you know, your amendment to the Constitution. I'm 100% for this. We have to have our constitutional rights. But at what point do we as families who are trying to live a private life that didn't ask for this, where do we get protection? None. There is zero, zilch. So he said, you need to talk to your commissioner and see if there's anything that he can do to change things or add things or something
Hey,
to help
Bobby,
protect you guys.
here's a suggestion. Why don't y'all do, like, put up a sign, just like this neighborhood is under video surveillance. You don't have to actually put it under video surveillance, but just, like, put up a sign.
Well, like that dude said, that neighbor that, I won't say this person, but, you know, he said put one of those things in. I think that was a flavor.
But it still goes back to what good is it going to do?
Well, here's the thing. If nobody has to know that it's not like that it's just a bluff. But if people think that they're on camera,
They may not.
if they think they're on camera, they're gonna drive,
Yeah, but I didn't think about that way. It's not necessarily what they know that happens to them. It's the fact that you're being recorded.
Yeah, they
You really want to be recorded doing whatever you're doing.
exactly. And
Of course, if you ask Betty Bullhorn, she'll tell you, I can do whatever I want to. I'm within my constitutional right because she's a genius and she does the law better than anybody.
yeah, well,
Yeah, I can't stand that woman. She is an idiot.
She's super alt-right.
She what?
She's
Yes.
super alt-right.
yeah, alternative right. Yes, she is, Steven.
What does that mean?
Like crazy far right.
Yeah, far right, but then there's there's MAGA occultists, what I call it. And then you've got the far left, which is like mini occultists, what you call them. And then you've got your normal Democrats and Republicans, you know what I mean?
Oh, I've never heard of all that. That's like genders. How many genders do you have? How many sides of politicians? I'm a conservative patriot. What does that make me? I'm not afraid to ask. I'm like, I like my guns. I like the ability to talk. I don't want government control. Yeah, I do want police because I know that they do help protect us, and I don't feel like they get enough pay. But I don't know how this is being used. She's using the law on her favor, and I think she's gone. So, but I also I think that she's using that far right tactic to make everybody think that she's this good person, and I really think that's fake. I think it's fake to get people to think she's this big American supporter of, like you said, MAGA, blah, 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 whatever. Well, I'm a MAGA supporter. I want to make America great again. I want that more than anything in the world. However, we need some laws to protect us. I just feel like it's almost to the point where it's protecting twice, and he has still yet to call me back. So I'm wondering if, is she causing such a scene legally that now nobody within the government in Sumner County wants to mess with anything to do with this case because she's just threatened everybody?
I think that's part of it. I think that one of the other things is that she is kind of trying to intimidate everyone into like backing away from the case. Like saying she's gonna dig into Craddock's, like deep dive into all of Craddock's stuff. She's gonna deep dive in the sheriff's department, and she's trying to use that to intimidate people to not not investigate her, Tony, and all them. Because I think they're money I'll just be honest. I think they're money laundering.
Oh, yeah. Well, you mean Sumner County or her?
No. Not Sumner County. Not Sumner County. Okay. Them. Like Tony Mathis, Seth, Betty.
Yeah. Well, and I'll be honest with you, and I think that
you didn't sign the contract.
You're not doing it for the wrong reason. You're doing it for the right reason. So the people who are doing it for the right reason are typically not going to make as much money because you're doing it the right way and not. Yeah. Well, that's kind of what I think I was used as a pawn, and I don't know how you guys feel about. Well, I shouldn't mention any.
JLR.
Okay.
I'll say it for you.
I was going to be nice. I'm trying to be nice, but I think he used me as a pawn. She really did. Yeah, I didn't say it. You said it.
No, I said it.
Yeah.
I'll own it.
I truly believe that he used me as a pawn. And then when it came down to it, and I sent him a message, and I told him what happened and how I was treated, he pretty much just said people are crazy. That's all he said. I even sent him the video of the guys that were attacking me and calling me all kinds of names and all this crap, and said, wow, that's awfully nice of them, and we never said a word, never him nothing. He didn't come to my defense, never said a word, and I thought, oh, so basically I was your pawn. And it didn't even dawn on me at the very beginning when he very first asked me if I would go on his live with him and if he could use my name. And of course, my name is Bobby, but I had it on Facebook as Mrs. Bobby because having a unisex name, a lot of people don't realize the spelling is different for male versus female. So a lot of people think I'm a man. And it's a picture, my profile picture is a picture of me and my husband together. So a lot of people that don't know me, not sure which one's Bobby and which one's not, whatever. And so I had Mrs. Well, it didn't dawn on me when he asked me, it's like, well, can I just use your name as Mrs. Bobby? I think he did that on purpose so people could stalk me on Facebook. Because I've had people trying to send me a friend request to connect with me on Facebook. And I'm like, I don't know who you are. And no, I'm not.
I'm not taking up a JLR here. I really ain't. Because I've been through the ringer with him. But, it took him a while to apologize to me, to be honest. I think it comes, man. Honestly, I think he's just something's wrong. I think that he's off. Like, he doesn't have...
If you sue the people that he sued and sue the Eiffel Tower, I mean, what do you expect?
I do not trust him as far as he could pick up a rock or a boulder and throw it.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. I think the man's kind of like bullhorn in this game. There's something wrong.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, again, it goes back to about money and clicks.
It'll be another rock. So help me God, when you cost me $3,000, I'll own it.
He's yelling at the dog.
I was gonna say, what?
Yeah, not that rock. He's not talking about the rock that you were talking about.
I literally just had a rock and he's yelling about it. I'm like, I didn't say I was eating it. I was standing with the rock. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That was perfect timing.
I knew what was going on in your head, Bobby. You were like, what the heck is he talking about? I didn't eat a rock. How did I cost you $3,000?
Yeah, that one totally threw me off. Okay, that was hysterical.
My dad decided to eat rocks and bones and had to have his damn stomach pumped.
Oh yeah, that's when you want to strangle the. Yeah, I get it. Well, I know the night that he asked me to be on that live, and I had told him that I was very nervous about it, and I even asked him if he could do the video without my face and voice. I mean, just my voice and not my face or anything. And he was just like, well, we can do it that way. But I just really think that the community needs to hear from a neighbor and needs to put a face to a name and all that, and kind of try to convince me to get out there. And I just feel like, regardless of what you're doing, if what you just did, well, first of all, when he told me when we were on the live, he said, you know, you've got over 2,000 people on here, and of course I panicked. I'm like, oh my God, that was not at all what I wanted to happen. Like, that, it just blew my mind. But and then afterwards, when I got attacked and all this stuff came out and whatever, I just felt like if you're going to set that situation up, and what you did caused that person to be mistreated, you created that. So the least you could do is come back and do another live or another video or something to try to counteract that and explain that, you know, this person was nice enough to do this to you. The least you can do is counteract that with, y'all got this all wrong. And it made me mad that he did not even one time defend me. Not one time. Like, you created this, and the least you could do is defend me. But he didn't.
Yeah.
Who cared less?
With creators, I've learned that you cannot expect that they're going to look out for their interests, and that's it. And if it doesn't benefit them to go out and like die on a hill for you, so to speak, then they're not going to do it.
That's true.
Unless it's going to generate like another, you know, revenue for them.
Well, and certain, like you said, you know, certain people, I have learned to realize that they are all about the money and the clicks. And then there's others that really are trying to get information out there and get, like you said, the number, whatever out there. But yeah, I just had to be really careful about who I talked to, who I trust. That's why when Stephen first mentioned this mob crew guy, and I was like, I'm not doing that again. But then when I saw the video, I was like, wow, he's really putting this together and really making sense. He actually made me question some of where the lights were going. So when we got to talk to the neighbor, it was like, oh, and of course Chris was so excited when I called him afterwards, because he was like basically me confirming what he was suspecting, and he was like, oh, he was so excited and like, oh my God, this is awesome, I can't believe this is, so he was excited that what he put together actually worked. So that was the confirmation he was enjoying as well. Now, Stephen, let me ask you this. When you said there's no way that somebody can carry somebody over that ditch, I mean, it is deep and it's wide. I've walked over it 1,000 times myself. My sister used to live behind it, on the other side over there. I've walked over that ditch myself 1,000 times. I physically could not have carried somebody. But don't you think that if she was in the military and went through the training that she went through, I'm hearing that she's strong as an ox and is very smart. Katie, yes.
What do you think happened though that would have made her not call? Like, if it's not like an accident, if an accident happened, I think she's,
No, I think she did it on purpose. I think she drugged him, and either drugged him to the point of knocking him. Because the question is how they. After we know about what happened with the whole light thing, and now we've got it confirmed for a fact where the lights went. But I know that my kids were over in the construction area. And let me rephrase this before anybody assumes anything. My kids were not standing next to the dogs when they jumped in the water. They were at the top of the hill, on top of the dirt mound, and could see the dogs from where they were standing, but they were not walking with them. They were over there in the property with them. The dogs jumped into the pond. The handler had to pick up and drag the dogs out of the water because it was quicksand. And when he came back out of the water and they walked back up to the back of the property where our house meets the construction area, my kids were out there and asked, what happened? And the handler said he jumped in the water. And my kids were like, what do you mean? Why did he jump in the water? Well, not only did he tell my kids that, but he told my neighbor down the street the exact same thing when they came door to door asking for video footage and do you mind if we search your property? Her husband asked him, the dog was right there. Her husband asked, did you guys get any hits? And the guy said the exact same thing.
I'll be right back.
So here's my thing is did you hear that Seth was allegedly missing from the jail for 2 hours?
The first thing I heard was there's no account of him being at work between the hours of 2 and 5. Then my neighbor down the street, who I was just talking about, her family, she's got family and friends that work at the jail. Her granddaughter works at the jail. She got it confirmed that there is no account of him being at work between the hours of 10 p.m. and 5 a.m.
Yeah.
So he was definitely not there. He was down here in the car. That's where I'm going. That's my opinion. I think.
So do you think they're all in on it then?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
All three of them?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think so. Yes. I think that Katie was at home, and when Monday morning, when my neighbor that's directly across the street from their house, who Stephen actually saw today, when she called me that Monday morning around 8 o'clock asking me if I had heard what was going on, and of course at that point in time I literally just got up and I didn't know what was going on. Her story to me by Katie was that they'd gotten back from Texas Roadhouse and Sebastian took the trash out, and then she was sitting on the couch watching TV, and Sebastian was in his room.
Okay.
Sebastian was in his room and supposedly supposed to be getting ready for bed, whatever. Well, Katie was on her couch, and I think it was about 10:30 or so, she heard a thunk and yelled across the house, Sebastian, what are you doing? He's like, nothing, Mom, everything's fine, go to bed. So she goes in the kitchen, she does whatever she does, and then she goes to bed, and everything is done. Never one time did she ever mention being on the phone with Chris or doing schoolwork or anything like that. None of that ever happened until after she did that first YouTube live with that one person, that lady.
Yeah.
So the question was, when I called my neighbor back and I asked her, I said, did you know anything about that phone call? She said, no. She never said anything to me about being on the phone with him. So then I talked to another friend of mine who lives down the street from me, who was actually at the command post. And then my neighbor, her granddaughter, is in the EMS service, and she was there at the command post because they had EMS there in case for the first week, just in case they happened to find him injured or stuck somewhere or whatever. And she was at the command post, and she said that they got ping on his phone in Memphis at the RV. And she said, yeah, but it never moved. So the idea is he left his phone sitting in the RV so that he could have an air quotes alibi. And when they pinged his phone, it would be up there. Well, he was here. I have no doubt in my mind he was in that car with Seth. Chris got out of the car and walked to the house or called Katie and told her to bring him out. Now, I don't know if he was already dead or she just drugged him, but the question I have is, if she just drugged him and didn't overdose him, but just drugged him, because he took sleeping medicine.
Right.
So, I mean, if you take enough of that, it completely knocks you out. It could kill you. I mean, obviously you
Right.
could overdose on that and it could kill you. So, did she overdose him and kill him, or did she just knock him out? And then, did they take him to the retention pond over in the construction area and drown him? My son accidentally got into that retention pond just a couple weeks ago with his four-wheeler, and he literally had to pull it out with a Jeep because it was like foot sand, and you could hear it suction when he pulled the four-wheeler out of it. You could hear the suction of it. So if somebody got into that, it would not have been easy for him to get out. So who's to say they didn't drown him in there and then push him down in there or dump water or dig him into that? You know what I mean? And
Right.
then it was raining, and it rained for 2 or 3 days after that.
If anything, see, I don't think Seth and I don't think there's any that all three of them could be involved, because I don't think that there's any way that they would let Seth profit the way anybody would let Seth profit the way he has from this case. Like, he's the only one that's profiting.
Well, not with, I mean, well, but
Katie and Chris were about to get rid of Sebastian. So I'm like, what would they have had any motive?
because she's getting to keep the Social Security money that she was getting from Sebastian, and now instead of having to pay for all of Sebastian's medical stuff, I also think that here's the other thing too, though. I think they had to get rid of Sebastian because he was talking to the school and the nurses and the counselors about what Chris was doing to him at their house, and how Chris was treating him, and then how Seth was reportedly treating him. And he was starting to talk about it. And see, this kid was getting older. I mean, he's getting
Right.
years old now. So I know for an absolute fact, I graduated from there. I know teachers in there. My kids went to school over there. I still know teachers over there. And I actually had an teacher assistant that my kids had call me at the beginning of this and ask me how much I knew. And we had like an hour-long conversation, and she said to me herself, she said, I'm telling you, they got rid of him because he was talking. CPS had reported being over here several times.
Yeah. See, like, all the stuff that, like, Seth is doing has made him look so much, like, guiltier in my mind as, like, the guilty, like, as being, like, solely having the motive. Like, I just don't think, because Katie and Chris were allegedly having those marital problems, right?
Chris and Katie were having major, they were having fights in their backyard, yelling and screaming at each other. That was reported from multiple people. They were fighting and arguing. There was a neighbor close by that overheard Chris say, either you get rid of him or I am. He hated Sebastian, hated him. That was reported at school. One of the counselors admitted, or one of the teachers admitted knowing that he absolutely hated him. Apparently, he also said it to one of his coworkers, that he hated him. He said, what did they call him? A freaking retard or something? He called him.
Yeah.
So I know Chris hated him, and I think that he was causing major issues in their marriage because Katie, being the mom, was trying to deal with all of his emotional issues. I also know that, and this is still not been talked about, but it is absolutely confirmed that he did not have autism. He had a chromosome deficiency that produces. Well, yeah, but they're still not talking about that either. And I think that she brought that up because she knew that if she didn't say anything, they would just deem this as a missing persons report. Or
But I did that. to say something. And so my mom was trying to kill that for me. But
Yep.
what the fuck is that?
What, Stephen?
I just seen something that pissed me off.
Okay.
What'd you see?
That doesn't sound good.
Just fucking something else got nothing to do with it.
Huh. I don't know. Like part of me just thinks that, I mean, I was so anti Chris and Katie at first, but see, like, I think that Sebastian was so desperate for friends that it's very possible he could have been lured out to the car thinking he was meeting somebody.
But he wasn't, because every single one of our neighbors that on that street, all of them looked at the ring cameras, and there was absolutely nothing showing that anyone came on that street to pick him up or walk out with him. And the only video footage that has not been released to the public that, like I said, someone I know was there at the command center and saw with their own two eyes somebody carrying him out the front door. And Chris even admits that on the audio when he was talking to non-divers. He specifically said that the dog scent went out the front door, turned to the left, went between the houses, exactly where the lights went.
Said that he did, or didn't. I didn't know who she actually worked for, so.
Yeah, no, you got some questions on it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of BS out there. People say there was no dogs in.
That's what I heard, and then I read the article from the actual news, and it said that the dogs got a scent that they from an article of clothing or something, and then they tracked all the way here, like several times.
Here's a better one. There was the dispatcher. The call got released from the dispatchers to the deputies and the responding units. In that release of information, you can clearly hear the dispatcher and the cops all say the dog's got a scent is over here in this pond.
Okay.
And I mean, for people to say no, it didn't, now you're bullshit.
Yeah, and that's what.
Deputies said that shit to the dispatcher.
And that's what everybody kept saying. And I'm like, there's got to be some truth to this, because that doesn't make any sense. Like, so yeah, they tracked here. So.
Yeah. And then, like I said, the path that they tracked. So, ours, if you're in that subdivision,
Yeah,
directly, the next subdivision over to the left is our subdivision.
Okay.
It's called Victoria Place.
Okay.
The scent that they got, as soon as you turn in our subdivision, you're on Kelly, driving all the way up to the very top of the hill at a four-way, you'll see that to the right they're cutting in this new road that will link
All this together. Okay.
Yeah. The scent
Is that what he's talking about? Directly right there? Oh.
So a track. Yeah, there was no fight. The dogs were on. Yeah, it was a dog. And do you know how much they actually drained?
They drained the whole thing.
It's okay.
So initially, when they went over to look at it, it was only knee deep. From the picture that you showed me, there's a lot of new runoff.
Yeah, that's what
Where they're cutting. Yeah.
Trying to figure out. I was like, I don't know how shallow it was before or after.
Yeah. I'm 5'9", and it was knee deep. Okay. So, and they even drained it and still walked it.
Okay. So they actually walked it. I didn't know that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that is actually information that was told to me by law enforcement.
Yeah. So So they actually
because I went on being law enforcement, they can put me in a vehicle.
Right.
Drove me around, showed me a bunch of stuff. I'm the only one that they got.
Okay.
So I can actually give you a little bit more information than what everybody's out there running their mouth.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going public with it.
No.
Quite honestly, I'm tired of the BS in the room.
That's what I kept trying to tell everybody. I was just like, it's, you know, I said he left the house, and then the internet went crazy with rumors and speculation. And I was like, I don't go off of rumors. I go off of what we got now. And I said something about that pond. And I said, and it just stopped. I said, so that's where I want to go. That's where I want to search and try to figure this out. And then,
so to work backwards from the pond, okay, if you were to walk from the pond, go straight up into the construction site, you'll see where they cut the road and it turns left. If you walk that all the way back, runs into our subdivision.
okay.
If you go down Kellen, all the way down to Stafford, and walk down towards Stafford toward our house. From our house, if you're looking at my house, I'm going to tell you where the dogs went. They started on the front porch.
Okay.
Because off the front porch, the dogs cut to the right. They go all the way down the side of the house along the fence.
So they went to the back side, or that
right
to the north.
If you're looking at my house,
okay,
it's going to be the right hand side. The dog goes all the way down the fence. The dog comes all the way back up into the yard, and then it cuts diagonally to the house next door to us through their backyard, and that is the direction which the dogs take off. Now after that, that's where they get over to the main road, go up Kellen, and head over to the other subdivision.
Okay. I know.
They've had dogs.
How many? Yeah, a lot of dogs.
But day one, there was 5 dogs. There was a Belgian Malinois, a blue heeler, 2 bloodhounds, and a blue tick.
I know with good dogs, like they'll do the track that's on the ground, and then if they smell a stronger scent in the air that's closer, they'll go to that direct scent.
The dog handlers told me first day,
wow,
Monday, that the dog popped to a trail and they followed it and went all the way around, and it ended in a construction site, but it ended. It's like there was nothing there.
Right. And that's a little odd.
Which
right?
Leads me to believe that, well, if it ends, normally this ends when you stop traveling on foot. From my understanding, that would mean that he got into a car.
If he got into a car, just so I understand the construction site itself, did the scent stop in the middle of the construction site, or did it stop on the side of the road? Me. Ah, okay.
They didn't tell me.
Okay.
So if all the dogs were tracking actually on the ground, then I feel like this is the play, like the spot to figure it out. Because if he would have cross-tracked, like actually like headed back, they should have been able to pick up on it, like a good dog.
So in the 8 days of the very intense searching, in the 8 days, on day 1, the 5 dogs did that. Out of the 8 days, 3 different dogs from 3 different groups went to that same area, that same set. On day 1, 2 of those dogs did the same path.
However, we were told on multiple occasions that there was 0 dog scents. And I even asked the National Guard when they came with their dogs. I asked them, I said, did you guys get a scent? And they're like, well, we got something over in the construction site, but then it went away. I'm like, well, that's because nobody asked the people in the construction site. Nobody stopped the construction. They were building houses and moving dirt around while the dogs were over there searching for a trail. Well, no wonder why. They said that they got something in the yard, but that was expected because he was outside in the yard. Other than that, there was no other scent trails. So he didn't just walk out of his house on his own 2 feet.
I know that it was very dark that night. I mean, it gets dark around here at night in general, but so far we haven't found him on any camera footage to prove where he's at or where he's gone. I know that they're looking, and I went asking everybody and anybody that has cameras, trail cams, stores, to check, even from before he went missing, just to see if there's anything at all.
That I don't believe we can comment on right now. That is not something that I believe we're privy to at this point with law enforcement. That is something I would definitely direct back to them. But I mean, there's all kinds of requests out there. There's thousands of hours of video that they are combing, and we're just hoping they'll find something.
Help spread the word and keep searching, and thank you. And just, if you think you see him, call him in. Call his name.
Yeah.
He'll answer, and if he doesn't answer, he'll look, even if he's not being verbal at the moment, because he can talk, but sometimes he don't talk. Call his name. Tell him to stay put.
He could be on the move, so keep checking your properties.
Yes, like the search is never over until he comes home. That is for sure.
So smart.
That is for sure.
So smart.
Anywhere and everywhere. At this point,
It's been 11 days. He could be anywhere.
Yeah, they've searched the woods, they've searched parks, they've searched creeks, they've searched. At this point, it anything and everything.
Anywhere that he could
search.
be staying out of the weather or getting food, or, I mean, honestly, at this point, he could genuinely be anywhere.
What I can tell you is, with all law enforcement, with everybody that's involved, there's nothing that's been eliminated. Everything is on the table. Everything is being looked at from every possible aspect.
Everything from he got out and walked away and was outside of the search radius before we started searching to the worst. And
that's currently where we're at. I mean, it's
really try not to go down that road, because we're gonna find him.
Speculating causes problems. Assumptions cause issues. And based on facts of what everybody knows, right now, there's nothing, and everything is still on the table to be looked at.
We just know he's out there somewhere. Besides that, we've been blessed to have family, friends, and even some in the community that have been helping us, but we've been out spreading those as far as we can, even over state lines, trying to get awareness, because, not everybody knows that he's missing, and there's a chance that if someone could see him and not even realize who he is. So we want to get his face out there because we want him home.
Surprisingly, even locally, there are some folks that don't even know what's going on, and it's kind of like a shocker. Like, how do you not know?
And a few others, but we're working with everyone we can. And taking, like, some people have been kind and reached out with resources that I didn't know were out there, and I've reached out to all of them. Truckers Against Trafficking, we reached out to them just in case.
And that's why, as a part of being in that world, we go and we utilize our brothers and sisters to help spread that word. You'd be surprised on how easy it is to spot somebody. The biker. So,
has your car been searched by police?
Multiple times, yes, ma'am.
Have scent dogs looked at your car?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you guys been out looking for Sebastian?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you had search dogs inside the house and outside?
Yes, ma'am, I have. Yes, I have. Sure have.
And what did the dogs hit outside?
So, as you know, if anybody has followed Mr. Gray's, what he was talking about, the dog and the trail and the scent and the overlay on the picture. So, there anywhere from 13 to 18 different dogs have been involved in this search. Now, on day one, there was 5 dogs. 5. There's an audio dispatch tape that's been released. I don't know who released it. Whatever, I don't have it, but you'd have to dig it and find it. In that audio tape, you actually hear that the deputy sheriff does state that the dog hints toward a scent and takes over off to the retention pond and the construction site next door.
Okay.
Now, other dogs did the exact same thing. Now, am I going to say every single dog? No, but I do know of at least 3 dogs that went on the same scent trail, same path. The rest of the dogs, I'm not going to tell you that they are 100% honest and perfect and accurate, because honestly, dogs are only probably 25% reliable when it comes to a scent.
Okay.
Now, 8 days, I've had dogs in my house the first 8 days. In my house, outside my house, around the neighborhood. So, yeah.
So they've been there, and yeah, so they did, you're saying they did hit and they all went to that pond?
No, I didn't say all of that. I just told you I've had 13 to 18 dogs in my house and around my house. I told you 3 different dogs hit on the same path that go to that retention pond.
Right.
That's not going to say that every other dog.
Not every dog, but some dogs hit. Okay.
Right. So, but I want this to be crystal clear.
Okay.
So when people say every dog, that is not the case. 3 dogs went on the same path.
Okay.
That is all that we have on that. The rest of these dogs go in different directions, but it's all unreliable.
Follow up again on the dogs hitting. Earlier, Ms. Prophet had stated the dogs hit around the house, the barn, and at the retention pond. Is that correct?
I don't know about the barn, but I do know that they did track to the pond, yes.
Did the dogs also hit around the house?
Yes, ma'am.
On the outside of the house?
Yes, ma'am.
Were they scent dogs or cadaver dogs?
They brought in both cadaver and tracking dogs.
Which dog hit? A cadaver dog or a scent dog?
Scent dog.
It's all been scent dogs that have hit. The cadaver dogs have not hit on anything that we know of.
I was curious about a statement that Miss Proudfoot made earlier, that canine dogs hit on the barn, around the home, and near a retention pond. Did that happen?
I'm not sure about the barn, but the retention pond, yes.
Because law enforcement says the dogs did not hit. But Miss Proudfoot says they did hit around the retention pond.
So there's been a lot of miscommunication in regards to what is and what is not. To help clear that up, law enforcement has actually spoken directly with me, showed me a few things. What I can tell you is from day one, there was 5 dogs that started the scent for the search. And then after that, from the next 8 days out from that, there have been dogs from all over the country that have come in and done searches and had scent hits in various locations. But I would say a certain percentage of them tend to go toward the same spot, which would have been a retention pond.
So the law enforcement dogs did not hit on the retention pond. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying they did. at least 3 that I know for a fact that did hit on the retention pond.
And the pond has been drained, correct? And there was nothing there.
Yes, ma'am. They have walked it, drained it, and there's nothing. The retention pond was only knee deep anyways. Less than probably half a mile if you walk the whole path.
Is it through wooded area? Would he have had to walk through the woods to get there?
No, ma'am. You can actually walk either the main road or the subdivision. So the construction site is a subdivision, new addition that's being built, and they have a road that's going to be tied into our subdivision. So you could actually walk up that way, or you could walk to the main road and walk into it.
Did Sebastian ever sleepwalk?
No, ma'am.
So he would have had to leave the house undetected by Katie and walk all the way to that retention pond. Did the dogs follow the trail a half a mile?
Yes, ma'am.
They followed the trail all the way to that retention pond?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
That's very curious, as they are saying the dogs didn't pick anything up.
Can I?
Okay. Go ahead.
No. So I'd like to clarify this whole dog scent thing for once and for all. So the dog scent, everybody said, oh, the dogs didn't get a scent. Dogs didn't get. The dogs got a scent. What the dogs got and where it led to, there's a lot of misinformation as far as to the road, to the construction site, to this, to that, to this. For the record, there were so many dogs used. I don't know if we actually have a true count. On the day one, there was 5 dogs automatically. We know for a fact. They brought dogs in from out of state, different counties, all over the place. But of all the dogs, there was a couple that took them through a construction zone and took them over to a retention pond. Now, the retention pond is no higher than knee deep.
Right.
They walked it and they drained it. But from there, the scent disappears. There's poof.
I'll have to look. I haven't looked at the Mob Cruise video. It's been sent to me, but I haven't looked at that yet.
That one where he shares the audio between Chris and the narc divers, where he was telling the narc divers exactly where the dogs were and where he literally tells you exactly what my neighbor told Steven and I today the lights were at. I mean, it was like, when I heard that, the first thing I thought was, and I told my neighbor, I said, oh my God, Chris basically just admitted exactly where they took him. That blew my mind.
See, I'm not the same, Bobby. I don't agree with you. I think that if he was there and he was watching the dogs.
He wasn't, but I think that was a lie. There was no, I asked multiple times, every one of the officers that had their dogs out here, every one of them said there was no trail. There was no trail from his house to the construction site. They had no idea how he went from his house over to the construction site. I went out here and I watched the dogs walking.
But that's what's weird though, because when I talked to Danny and the other guy that was running the dogs, they told me that their dogs, there was also a third dog who was much younger that tracked also off the track after it went past that one house, and after that the dog tried to like do some he was just too young. He obviously was not ready for the field. They actually ended up pulling that dog back.
I don't know about that one. I just know that the sheriff's department had dogs. The TBI came in and the National Guard brought their dogs. And every time we ever asked them, it was, there was not enough of a scent trail. There was a scent trail around his house, but it didn't lead us anywhere. And we were expecting that because that's his house. So So I'm telling you, from the neighbor next door, when she said that they had turned in their footage 2 weeks late when she was at the command center, and they saw this movement, and it looked like there was something draped over their shoulder. That was as soon as they said, she told me, she said, I'm telling you, somebody took him out of the house. And I'm like, okay, but what I'm saying about Chris's confession to me was that to me was Chris saying that he knows that they walked out with him, or somebody walked out with him. I don't think the dogs hit that. I mean, I think that it was, they were carrying him out. And I think that Katie, they all know that what happened to him. I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong. And if I'm wrong, I'll be the first one to say, wow, I'm surprised. But I just think all three of them know what happened to him.
Yeah, see, I just don't think I think if anybody's involved, it's Seth. I don't think that Chris and Kate, don't get me wrong, I originally went down Katie and Chris. Like, I was that, like, all the way, 100 million %. But he didn't have any motive.
Because Bobby's sitting out here, and she'll tell you, we were standing there. Seth, I've been around Seth personally. Bobby's been around Seth. He's a big dude who can't hardly, he's got back problems taking around. For him to move quickly, and he got that little dude, not a little dude.
No, that was Katie that ran back.
See,
absolutely. I would put I don't have $1 million, but if I had $1 million, I'd put $1 million on that being her that ran back.
But Seth could have easily gotten somebody to do it for him. Like,
but see, the thing with this is, I will tell you that Chris is nasty. He is meaning, and he went off on my son and I one night and threatened his girlfriend in a Jeep. I still have it on dash cam, which we didn't even realize it was running. Thank God it was. Where he confessed to me all kinds of crazy stuff, and afterwards it was over. My son and I looked at each other and we were like, "Wait, why did he tell us that? What is that? Why do we care?" He was telling us all kinds of stuff at the very beginning, and then threatened us with, "My mom's a realtor in Gallatin, and she knows everybody. She's got connections." And I'm like, I don't give a crap what your mom's doing. But that was a threat to me to shut my mouth and make sure I kept my mouth shut to let me know. That was intimidation. But he was like, he's got this. I just wish I could describe to you the demeanor. I mean, the man stood in the middle of the street as we're driving slowly down the street. Now, this is my neighborhood. You're not going to tell me what road I can and can't be on. I live here too. I can go wherever I want to go at whatever time I want to go, as long as I'm not disturbing the peace, which we really don't even have. We're in the county, so we don't even have a noise ordinance kind of thing.
Yeah.
So whatever. But when he stood in the middle of the street, he stood with his feet basically hip width apart, his arms crossed and his chest all pushed out like, "Whoa, you're not going to get past me." Put his hand out to stop us. My heart jumped out of my throat. I had my phone in my hand, and I thought at first it was the police, because I thought maybe the police were still over there. And I thought, oh crap, we're going to have to explain to the police that we're not being weird. Then I realized when I found out it was him and his demeanor, I had my phone and I had 911 already on my phone. I was ready to hit send as soon as if I felt threatened by him. He's got this. To let me know, that was intimidation. But he was like, he's got this. I just wish I could describe to you the demeanor. I mean, the man stood in the middle of the street as we're driving slowly down the street. Now, this is my neighborhood. You're not going to tell me what road I can and can't be on. I live here too. I can go wherever I want to go at whatever time I want to go. And as long as I'm not disturbing the peace, which we really don't even have. We're in the county, so we don't even have a, noise ordinance kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, like, whatever. But when he stood in the middle of the street, he stood with his feet basically hip width apart, his arms crossed, and his chest all pushed out like, whoa, you're not going to get past me. Put his hand out to stop us. My heart jumped out of my throat. I had my phone in my hand, and I thought at first it was the police. Because I thought maybe the police were still over there. And I thought, oh crap, we're going to have to explain to the police that we're not being weird. Then I realized when I found out it was him and his demeanor, I had my phone and I had 911 already on my phone and I was ready to hit send as soon as if I felt threatened by him. He's got this, I'm bigger than you. You are going to leave me alone and you're going to stop asking questions and you're going to get out of my face and you better not ever come back over here again. It was just this demeanor of get away from me and get off me. Leave me alone and stop messing with me. He is creepy as crap. And then he bold-faced lied to the entire world when he told everybody, this is Chris, that he was on a three-way call with Katie and that he called the non-emergency number because of where we live. That's bull. You cannot get 911 to the non-emergency line. The very first thing, the audio recording that comes up when you call the non-emergency line is, if this is an emergency, hang up and call 911. Now, if
you get to the non-emergency.
That's what I was getting. I know, and that was the next thing I was going to say is if that was his air quotes faster way to get to somebody, he wasted 5 minutes because you have to go through all the prompts, then you have to wait for a yes to connect your call. You got a missing kid. If I had a missing kid, I would have been dialing 911.
You know how I know this? Because I had to call a non-emergency line the other day. There's a dude out here in front of my house. He's like speeding back and forth on his bike, and all of a sudden he's laying down. I'm like, shit.
Oh no.
And he's like, yeah, I'm okay. So I just, I didn't see this as an emergency.
Right. Just worried about you getting hurt.
I had to call, and sure enough, nobody answered. And it was like, you need to speak to the detective.
Yep.
Blah, blah, blah. And then the next thing you know, it reached me to, it took about 3 minutes, but
it took me almost 10 minutes. It took me almost 10 minutes the other night when that truck drove by. Because obviously that's not an emergency, so I'm calling the non-emergency number. It took me almost 10 minutes to get a dispatcher because it kept ringing and ringing and ringing and ringing and ringing. And I'm thinking, if my kid was missing, there ain't no way I'd call that. I'd be calling 911. I think what he did is these connections that he threatened me with. I think he called the non-emergency line to get a hold of whoever within Sumner County Sheriff's Office that he knows to say, hey, I'm going to need you guys to cover this up because this is what just happened. And then he got dispatched. I may be wrong with that one too. But why in the crap if your kid is missing?
They're going to record all that shit, Bobby. They record all that shit, though. So he would have had to have called them on a private line.
I'm stupid and don't go to the trash truck versus a cell phone footage. They're hiding all this crap. There is so much corruption in Sumner County. It is blatantly obvious. It's ridiculous. Craddock tried to convince me on the phone that those lights were a trash truck. And then he got mad at me because I was telling him that he was wrong. Just saying.
guys, I'm gonna be off. I'm gonna try to go get my daughter. But at the end of the day, man, I'm hoping. My biggest thing is that we're not coming to the surface. Yeah, that's what I was just saying, man. Is that we're looking at? I think what we're seeing in front of us is this Chris dude's a special guy, man. He's good at what he does, and so I think that key evidence is what. It's funny because it will prove that Sumner County lied. Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
Lied. And I think that's a positive thing, too, because we can, let's say that this is crucial evidence, but we can easily say, okay, did they lie or did they willfully, neglectfully ignore facts?
Absolutely. Well, the fact that they didn't shut the house down and lock it down on day one, the fact that they didn't shut and lock down the construction site as they were searching through it with dogs, right there shows you. And then my son saw that Thursday, the week that he went missing, that Thursday, my son reported to the that flyer that they were passing out to everybody that had the report what you see, whatever number on it. I think it was to the command post. Well, of course we had that just in case we saw anything. And it was that following Thursday or Friday, my son was standing out on our deck, which faces the construction site, and he saw this weird light moving around, disappear, come back on, move around, and then just disappear in the woods over in the construction area. Well, he called that number, and the guy said, okay, we'll come check it out. Thank you for letting us know. Nobody came. Nobody even called him back to say, hey, tell me exactly where this was. I know Terry Lynn found all kinds of crap, and she reported it, and they told her that they weren't looking for that kind of stuff. I'm telling y'all, there is something going on.
I definitely will agree with that. There's something fishy in the air over there.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's something we can all agree on when it comes to stuff they're doing in this.
I'm having something to eat. Did you?
One of AG's case, I talk to Sherry all the time. It's sad.
Yes. I just hope, Stephen, that you keep looking and you keep doing what you're doing, because I think, you're one of the good guys that really actually care, and you're not in it for the money, and you're trying to, get information. So I just hope that you will continue doing what you're doing, and I will continue giving you information that I find out. But I think today was really good.
Yeah,
that was cool.
Today was awesome.
Yeah.
Well, be on the lookout for some random ass vehicle in your neighborhood too.
Something like that.
And put that.
Damaging, you know what I'm saying? Come out of, it's not saying nothing against you, you know what I'm saying? But
no, I know. It confirms exactly what I was told.
Well, and that's the thing, guys. It goes back. I think it's pretty damning, right? Because it made you look bad on Channel R. But when the mom crew put out this video, it proved at that moment, like he proved it. That's not a fucking trash truck.
Right.
So, and I think that right there should establish help at least start establish like your credibility with that part of everything. She was trying to tell us. So,
Steven, send Bobby my number too.
We're at a weird road right now, but I do think that we're at the very end of a very long road. That this money, do I think this money will make anybody talk? No, I truly don't. But I'll offer to put $2,500 with it. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Steven, send Bobby my number.
Money to the reward fund. That's a lie. Just FYI. You cannot. Oh, the FBI in they definitely told me that you cannot.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, now I feel like a jackass.
Oh, you tried.
Yeah. So, well, the way I look at it is like, I'm not putting money in the fucking hands of Seth or anybody. I'm just gonna put it in this pot, and so what if it never gets used? At least it might. Maybe one day it goes to something good, Right. So, but who knows, man?
She was trying to say something. What were you trying to say?
I was saying, hey, Steven, send her my number too, so she just like has it. But yeah, Bullhorn, I don't like. She was trying. It was very odd because people were even pointing that out. Like, where is she at in her house? Like, kind of like, where is she at in her house? You know, like that's not her bed. She doesn't have her dog with her. You know.
Does she have your number, or you want to keep it guarded?
Have my number?
Yeah.
I mean, as long as she doesn't like spread it all over the world.
Oh, yeah.
She's definitely not that.
I just,
Yeah, no, I don't.
How I was treated by, everybody on jail or crap like that. I just try to make sure. Yeah, I feel like I can trust Steven now. So,
Yeah, no, I don't
trust you. I'm like, okay, I'm willing to help you out and call you when I hear something.
No, I freaking am friends with. I still talk to Riley's parents. Like, I still haven't made up figured out what exactly went on, but something isn't right with that whole thing. And I never talked about it. I mean, I never really, I never even asked them to come to bat for me on certain stuff, cause it just didn't matter at the end of the day. I didn't go through what they went through, but it's just, I would definitely recommend putting up a sign that at the beginning of the neighborhood saying this is under surveillance.
Yeah.
And
I talked to my neighbors and see if they.
You don't even have to. You don't even have to. You don't even have to put up cameras, Bobby. Y'all just put up a sign that says that is.
I try not to be this, even though I'm the admin of the group, starting the group, I don't want to come across as this. Well,
over being
super nosy neighbor that wants to control everything kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I know that a lot of us are just burnt out with all of the YouTubers that keep coming through here, and then people that, say crap about our neighborhood and try to tell us that, well, I can't believe they don't have, somebody said, well, the whole neighborhood should have green everywhere, and nobody cares about him because the whole neighborhood should be decorated in green.
Hold the fuck up. What about the other missing kids, man? What about them? What about Deanna's daughter? Or her niece that she raised, Brooke Anderson, who's been missing for fucking 7 years. What about that? What about these other kids that go missing every day? That's something that I don't tolerate. Am I close to the Sebastian stuff? Do I care? Absolutely. But there are other fucking kids that are passed up every day, not spoke about. That shit just pissed me off, man. Talking about
they were
green everywhere. Shut the fuck up with that.
Well, it didn't make any sense to me, and several of my neighbors that I'm friends with and know well around here asked me, what the crap is going on with all this stuff? And they're like, why do we need signs all over our yard and everything green? We know the kids missing. We're very aware of this. We're the neighborhood that got flipped upside down and got invaded by, everybody to look for this kid. And you're yelling at us for not having signs everywhere? Where he's gone?
Now, on the 6-month anniversary, I can understand that. You know what I'm saying? I would say put some green in there, man. That's your neighborhood. So, be like, hey, man, especially given he's not found, okay? Or the year mark, stuff like that.
We had vigils. I mean, we had a vigil with everybody in the neighborhood that came down. We all prayed for him. We all walked around. We all talked about it. We're all, we all went out searching the first few days. All of us were out in our neighborhood. We all looked around our yard. We all looked around. We all several of us drove around town looking for him. We have been out doing stuff that we don't need signs everywhere and posters everywhere. We're aware of this.
Yeah.
We're living it.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't believe in having it. I mean, and that's also bad to keep living in the past. You got to move forward.
Well, that's kind of where we are now. I think everybody's just burnt out and just ready to move on. We want him found, and especially several of us have said we want to move on, but we also want him found, and we definitely want him found, especially if there's some kind of foul play. Nobody wants to think that if they did do something to him, that they continue to live in that house. And they are bringing us stress. If they did something to him, okay, we'll talk later.
All right.
The people next door,
Okay, guys.
I told you that they didn't think because it's an older couple. They thought
There we go. Take that off so there's no echo. All right, there we go. Sorry, guys. Just had to fix the sound up a little bit there. So just bear with me. I'm going to take this down. So this was 8/28 of 24, right? So very close to the anniversary of Sebastian being missing. And about a year ago, a little bit under, I think. And I agree. I see you guys writing about the license plate readers. I see all of these comments. You know, there's no reason that Chris should know that information unless, you know, law enforcement gave it to him or unless he was checking it out himself before all of this transpired. It's super suspicious. In my opinion, SI officer says he loves to glow on the knowledge that that they have from their buddies in LE. He does. He loves to gloat on it. I know. He really does. He loves to gloat. That's right. Thank you, SI officer. I figured that's what you meant. I mean, because he does. It's just something that we're used to seeing from Chris, right? Because he's constantly out there trying to showboat, trying to gloat, trying to put himself in the spotlight and take Sebastian out of it, in my opinion. And I don't know why he would do such a thing if he is, in fact, really looking for his stepson, right? And Detroit, I think it is a great question. If they can say that if Sebastian even slept in his bed, right? Or did they just go in there tossing things around like they did in Seth's house, according to Seth, right? Why is he getting so mad? It makes you wonder. It makes you wonder. Holly S says, in my opinion, Bobby has connections too. I wish she could get her info out there. Well, yeah. And, you know, the thing is she's like an OG neighbor, right? I mean, that's what I've been saying about Bobby from the beginning. And I know, guys, in here she does kind of kick some theories around that we'll probably not be, you know, in agreement with. But I also think, you know, it was kind of crappy that she was recorded without her knowledge. Not even kind of crappy, like only a scumbag does that, right? Unless you're trying to protect yourself and the truth, then you typically don't do that, right? I can think of some forgivable reasons to do it, in my opinion, but in this case, I don't think that was right because they probably asked her, you know, what are you thinking? And then they hit the record button, right? So she's thinking she's just talking with Steven and UA and they're just, you know, having a chat. Little does she know they're recording her. You know, Seclusion says he'd gain nothing. Also, listen to his voice and look at him. He's broken and in sheer hell. I mean, my thoughts exactly, Seclusion. It's terrible. It's really, really sad that we have to witness Seth struggling so hard. And then we see other people deciding to go on and make fun of him, right? And those are the other parents in the situation. It's very blatant. It's very awful, and it's cruel. Michelle Pacework says he gloats because he knows somebody else somebody else doesn't his trophy, so to speak. Well, and you know, we've witnessed him do that several times, right? With the Duper's Delight. He gets really excited when he gets over on people, or he thinks he is, right? I mean, many people on the outside looking in on this are going to see it for what it is. Only the people that are cruel themselves are going to think that this is okay, in my opinion, because if they put themselves in Seth's shoes and he's only looking for his son, I think that's really cruel. I really do. I think it's cruel and evil, unusual, to say the least. C-Star, good to see you. C-Star says Seth released his time card from work. He sure did. He also took a polygraph test with FBI polygraphist, right? SI officer says seclusion. Absolutely. This whole thing has been so unfair to Seth and Sebastian. It sickens me as well as everyone else. I just pray for justice and judgment to come quick. I hope so too, SI officer. And I'm glad that everybody's buzzing and talking about Sebastian, but I wish it was because he was home. The Proudfoots didn't attend that vigil or any vigil. They didn't even hold their own vigil. They have yet to stand out there with a candle because they know where Sebastian is, in my opinion. Bobby says, Holly, she knows more than she's saying. I agree. And she may be holding back, right? Because, you know, you have two people who obviously at this point in the game, right, 28, 24, they are very, I'm sure she's very aware of their opinion, and they're aware of hers, right, just from what she told JLR. She also talked to Terry Lynn. So, you know, just based off of that, they kind of understand that they're not in agreement. And maybe that's why they were being so underhanded with her. But in the same way, I think Bobby was honest. I didn't really like someone saying, well, we don't want these flyers up. I've heard that a lot. Well, that's depressing. Well, it is depressing, but let's do something about it. And then you won't have to hear about it. If we do something about it, then it's going to stop, right? I mean, it's really simple. It absolutely breaks my heart and soul to know what Sebastian has endured in that home and that night. In my opinion, as well, SI officer, it absolutely breaks my heart. And there's no reason that he ever should have had to be put in that position or treated that way ever. Never, ever. Show Poodle says, now CT is mad that Sebastian is being talked about and not other kids. And Bobby, yeah, your subdivision was turned upside down, but you are not the victim. Sebastian and Seth are. Move on? ? I know, Show Poodles, and I agree with you. And Crabtree making a big deal about other kids is just because he's a follower, not a leader. You know, he really is. He just follows along with whatever they do and say, you know, and he's like the little dog, you know, on the cartoon, and you have like the big dog, and he's like the bulldog, and then you have the little Leapper right next to him. I think he's like a Chihuahua. Well, you know, Crabtree's the little Chihuahua that just goes along with, you know, whatever the bulldogs are saying, right? And look at me, hey, I'm right here with you. You know what I mean? He's really, it was actually cute in the cartoon, not so much when we witness it from a grown man in real life, in my opinion, of course. SI officer says, in my opinion, allegedly, the ambush, the evil family, the torture, emotional, physical, mental abuse was unfathomable. I agree. And it's completely unacceptable and uncalled for. We're talking about a child who endured mistreatment from the adults in his life. It wasn't the kids at school bullying Sebastian. In my opinion, it was Chris and his family. We witnessed Melissa doing it. Good night, Bobby. Thank you for sticking around. I'm so glad you guys were here to listen to this, right? And I'm not going to be on much longer, but I do want to get to some of your comments. I just wanted you all to listen to the phone call without me breaking in. In the beginning, I did because I couldn't help myself, but I figured if I could just go in the chat and, you know, write in the chat, that would be a good way of, you know, kind of letting you all listen and make up your own mind about it. And then, of course, I included some clips that I thought you might like, and that would kind of go along with what we were talking about. It's so wild, Holly S. It's crazy. Brenda Calvert says, Bobby doesn't read the room very well. She thinks everyone is a good person like her, in my opinion. She was wrong about Seth, but was recorded a year ago. Right. And, you know, and maybe she didn't know what to think at that point either. You know, she's probably torn, right? Because you hear this and you hear that, and somebody brings this up and somebody brings that up, and then you're going, I don't know what to think. You know, I've been there too. And, you know, I've changed my way of thinking on a couple of different things when it comes to Sebastian's case. As we've gone on and on, right? I think sometimes people forget though too. And I think that's part of the frustration with BHB is that she did put these time cards out, right? She has been transparent. She has went in the hot weather and pinned flyers up, right? Not just in the neighborhood, but just everywhere around the area, right? In my opinion, that's super brave, especially when she was being followed by, you know, Chris's stepdad for what? And then, you know, prove it, you know, what a little weirdo. Gross. Seclusion work says, I believe in Seth, no doubt. I do too. It would be one thing, and I was saying this the other night, it would be one thing if Seth didn't have an alibi either. I would maybe side eye him too, and I'd want to discuss that with him, right, and understand it better. But at the end of the day, he does have an alibi where he was at work having to buzz in and out of the prison, right? He was in jail, he says. He was in jail. And then also he was willing to sit and take a 3-hour polygraph with someone who didn't have any skin in the game and someone who was completely unknown to him, and vice versa. And so when Chris and Katie take one with the TBI and they know people, and, you know, Carter is coming out and saying this bullshit that he came out with, it shows me what kind of polygraph was given. Don't forget, Chris told Jules, the dog handler, that Katie only was asked 5 questions and he was asked 13 questions. You know, I know it's hard to remember all of this stuff, but at the end of the day, the person who knows and holds the key is Katie. She is. And I think logistically, I was saying in the chat, I think logistically, for all of this to have been pulled off in the way that it was pulled off, there has to be a few other people involved, right? Maybe 5 at least. Okay, like Katie, Chris, the Sox, a getaway driver perhaps, right? In my opinion. Detroit Rock City says also was her bed slept in, or also was her bed slept in, and were the dogs that slept with her when CP was gone. That's a good point. Detroit Rock City, was her bed slept in, right? Because we see that at 3:06, I believe it is, in the morning, Katie's light, her bedroom light is on, right? But I thought she went to bed. I thought Chris told her to put the dogs up and go to bed. Right? And I only do that, guys, because she always, you know, uses that sweet Southern Belle accent, you know? So that's my best version of that. These people are stupid, in my opinion. I mean, you know, they are. Autocorrect, I know, SI officer, especially when we do the voice to text. I know. It gets crazy, and then if chat's moving fast too. Thank you for playing this. This is an interview I knew was out there but never heard. You're welcome, C. Taylor. Absolutely. Thank you for being here. And, you know, I appreciate you guys and all of your insight into it too. Like, what do you guys think of this? This is very strange to me, right? Like, and then also Bobby is just trying to figure it out. Like, she is in the neighborhood. She does have to worry about it. Her kids were being looked at. You know, all of these things are, you know, important to recognize and at least consider, you know. And I mean, she has looked at a lot of this footage too. So the Bradford dogs were put up in their, they said that she said that she put the dogs up in the pen, but then they also said on Queen Bee that whenever Chris is out of town, that Katie lets the dog sleep with her. So, I mean, if he had only been gone for like a couple of days, I would think, well, maybe she's still putting him in the pen and stuff. But since he had been gone all month by his account, then I think that it's a pretty good chance that for the whole month, you know, the dogs were sleeping with Katie, right? And I don't see any problem with that. Django sleeps in the bed too. I mean, you know, it's basically his bed. Aw, I know, Miss Ann. Hey, Joe, good to see you. Yo Joe. Seclusion Works. Ever seen that pic of Sebastian and Seth side by side? They obviously love and pride on Seth's face. Yeah, has his son. Yeah, with his son is so genuine. I agree. Seclusion Works. I agree. When he accepted the award at the vigil, is when I saw Seth being very much proud of his son. You know, very much proud, very proud father. Deborah says P-Feet's dogs put up in their crates. P-Feet. P-Foots. Hey, Elisa P. Bunch of very selfish people in the neighborhood, and they absolutely don't care about Sebastian. I think it's like they want us to forget, right? They just don't want us to bring it up anymore. And that was kind of what Bobby was saying. I hear UA records everyone. Weirdo. Holly S. She was like completely looking for my first and last name and everything about me. One of the creators, Wispy, had reviewed me, you know, which is fine. But what's not fine is asking, you know, what my full name is and where I live. And she did. She is absolutely a weirdo. Absolutely a weirdo. SA officer says, in my opinion, allegedly everything to hurt Sebastian. And that's the saddest part of it, SA officer, because it, you know, the way that they're acting, what they've done, even tonight, it just shows. It shows what their true intentions are, how they truly feel, their genuine intentions, right? Elisa P says they just want to act like this never happened and move on without the truth, just like LE is trying to force. I agree with that. I mean, because otherwise, why would we be in this predicament that we find ourselves in my opinion? Dang, I think Dang never choked out my autocorrect phone. Michelle. Oh my goodness. Oh, comments are very telling. Holly S. I agree. Hey, Tina Girl. Tina Girl says, sadly, I feel they get pure enjoyment out of hurting Seth. They do. They do. They absolutely do. And when Yeda was being honest, she said that she witnessed the same thing. And that's Katie's kin saying that. Kiki says, wow, just studied something. There's something called internet kill switch, which can shut down traffic readers. Interesting. Well, and the thing is, too, is those jammers are very powerful. You know, so it's like, because they work off of the different frequencies, right? So they can just kick off whatever they like. I'm still intrigued as to why law enforcement is sharing specifics of those readers with someone whose wife was the last one with Sebastian. Talk about corrupt. Yeah, Kiki says, yes, it shuts down the internet around the traffic readers. Right. And then the Wi-Fi signal jammers. Deborah says, yeah, the Wi-Fi jammer, internet killer, pretty much the same thing. Yeah. No, Joe, I see you. You're not blocked. I said hello. You're not blocked. It's crazy, right, Bo? Yeah, we see you, Joe. Everybody sees you. That whole community seems, off, TBH. I understand that, Holly. Because if there was a little one in the neighborhood gone missing, I'll tell you what, we would be turning it upside down. We wouldn't be having that. You know, everybody needs to know. And for people to say, oh, we don't want to hear about it anymore, that's crazy to me. That is absolutely nuts. Kiki says also Brinks has an outdoor camera on their vehicles for LE to pick up, and speeding company doesn't it? I don't know. That's a good question. I'm not sure about the Brinks truck. You know, I just thought it was weird that, you know, here's Katie in communications and she has all of this knowledge, and then she's home alone without her husband and she doesn't have any kind of camera up, but she's home with her son. Okay. Deborah says, so the big question is, where did they hide Sebastian? Till things cooled off, and where and when did they transfer him to someone? Well, a lot of people have been speculating too that it's very possible that Sebastian didn't even make it home. But then with the FBI release, it's saying that there was some dash cam, audio and possibly, I would guess, video. So where's that at? Hey, Maui Sun, good to see you. Maui Sun says, great job, Lady Freedom, Sebastian Strong. Thank you, Maui Sun. Thank you for being here. Kiki, you're amazing too, girl. You're my research lady. We're always researching stuff. Did you see this? What about this? What do you think of this? We have to, though. We all got to look, Crab is performing, in my opinion, always wanting to go viral. Holly, yes, I agree. Kiki, thanks, Lori. And that's the thing too, because it's like, that's why I look at Crabtree and it's like, maybe I underestimate him, but I just look at him as just like a follower. I don't look at him as anybody like. Yes, dog's cute. Man, child, not cute. Actually embarrassing. You know what I'm talking about? Like Spike isn't his name. He's like, hey, Spike, Spike. Yeah, I remember. I don't know. That's what I think of. And maybe I'm underestimating. That's what I think of. Oh, thank you. Ann Brock says, I hope and pray that Sebastian will be found soon. Thank you so much. And I agree. Elisa P, it is indeed. Lady, it's beyond the pale, cruel, and evil, in my opinion. I mean, it's awful. It is. It really is. Yeah, I'll send you the link, Kiki, and then you could use it for whatever. Like if you hear something or you want to do a comparison or play it on your channel. Guys, I was reading the comments. I really didn't realize how many of you hadn't heard that before. I played it in the very beginning when I first started going live, but that was a while ago. I started going live December of 25. December of 24. Sorry. Whoa, hello. She called out the corruption. She sure did. And that's the thing, another reason why it's kind of like scary that somebody would be recording without your knowledge, because it's not fair. Like if you're just speaking the truth and you don't think anybody else is listening and you're just trusting these two people and then come to find out they're over there recording you. I mean, it can be dangerous. She did, and so I still have a good outlook of Bobby, the neighbor. I do. I feel for her. I feel for the neighbors. I don't like to hear some of those opinions, but then Bobby should have done an interview with JLR giving her facts and opinion and then zipped it, in my opinion. Yeah, but she said a lot of good stuff in here, which, I mean, yeah, I think Yua is a weirdo, but I'm grateful that she released it, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I know that it's horrible. I just wanted everybody to know, like, Bobby did not know that this was being recorded. So everything that she's saying, she's, entrusting to two people not to be recording. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's obviously illegal to do that in Tennessee. You don't need both people's permission, in other words. So there's that. I feel there's locals that know but are scared because they seem little to be too big outfit, in my opinion. Well, and I mean, yeah, it is really, really sad. It is sad. It is, and I mean, there were a lot of people that were giving Seth, fist bumps and waving to him, but they wouldn't beep their horn, stuff like that. Deborah says corruption maybe, but they have to get definitive proof and all their ducks in a row to present it to the DA. I agree, Deborah. I agree. Yeah, that's the tough part here. Seth is a good dad. He is Kiki, and he doesn't deserve that, being Sebastian's voice and being mocked. They've already mocked his son. His own mother mocked him. Fucking disgusting. Michelle says CP sounded a bit bitter. KP got 5 questions and he got 13. Didn't he? He's like, I got 13 fucking questions. I'm like, settle down there. Who cares? Look at him. Seth sat there for 3 hours. Are you kidding me right now? Deborah says, remember LE, except for we're looking for a wandering or lost 15-year-old with autism. Yeah, they wanted us to think he just walked off, even though he had no history of doing so. And then there was even that rumor circulating that he was found under a vehicle, which wasn't true, right? Because that's what I thought had been reported, right? And who was giving the police all the information? Katie. Katie, guys. You know? Doesn't make me feel good to have to point it out all the time. She should just come clean and tell the truth. Where's Sebastian? You were the last one with him. And I hope her conscience eats at her every single day. I knew that Seth didn't have anything to do with it from day one. Yeah, Anne. Yeah, I mean, I didn't know for sure at first, you know. And then I started watching his interviews, and he came up on Pascal, and I was like, oh, this is Sebastian's dad. Okay, good. So he does have a dad. Not that asshole only. That's the first thing I thought. And then I just listened to Seth, and I thought, okay, he's out there looking, you know. Law enforcement's kind of not really working with him. I'm like, that's weird, right? I also saw him in when he was interviewed by Nick Barris, too. Tina says maybe they did have this all planned out, and I don't think it's a coincidence that Sebastian went missing in the same day of the divorce. I mean, especially when they want to hurt Seth the way that they do. And they've done it over and over and over again, you know? One look at UA and Crabtree, and I would have been, nah, in my opinion. I mean, I wouldn't have trusted them particularly. I don't know if they had been talking for a while before this recording. I don't really know much about it other than, you know, that they, UA Crimson was aware and then Crabtree was aware, to my knowledge, right? That they were going to record Bobby or talk with her. The problem with this audio, too, was that, you know, you have Bobby who was talking kind of like medium, and then you have UA who was talking really, really loud, but she was the one recording. And then you had Crabtree who was super muffled. So I had to, you know, equalize it all out. This is the best that I could do. But I mean, at least if you guys want to try to do it yourselves too, you could also mess with the volume on the audio. But feel free. I don't think I put any copyrighted music in there. I don't think I did. Anyway. I don't think anybody slept that night either, SI officer. I don't. They couldn't have. Yeah, they always said that. They said they weren't suspicious of foul play. They said it's not a criminal investigation. But then the FBI came out and said it was they had criminal investigators on it. So which one is it? Because there was all of that buzz around social media. Oh, it's not a criminal investigation. Yeah, it was. It was from the beginning. Absolutely was. So stop lying. Elisa P says Crabtree is clueless how people act in other places when a child goes missing. We had Gannon Stout here in Colorado. We all kept blue lights on our homes, blue flags for Gannon until after he was all found and there was a trial. That's so sweet to hear, Elisa. You know, Gannon was one that I followed really, really closely. And I really, truly had strong step-parent vibes like I do with Chris, with her, right? But really, it was more like I had Chris, you know, Chris made me think back to Letitia, right? Because Letitia was saying things like, well, when you find out the truth, you're going to say sorry to me. Well, bull crap. She's just a complete narcissist too, in my opinion. You know, you're welcome, Show Poodles. Thank you so much. Thank you guys all so much. Hey, Jude. How are you? Hey, Jude. Good to see you. Don't they take pictures when they are investigating to show proof? Oh, I mean, Lord have mercy. I would hope so. I would hope so, Detroit. I know, girl. I mean, it's crazy. Most people in neighborhoods and towns care when a child is missing in their town, right? It's unthinkable. It's like, okay, who took the child? What happened to the child? You know? It's disgusting. Elisa, I know, right? There was a grandma in the neighborhood saying she couldn't find her grandson, and I was searching everywhere. Aw. And found the little booger, right? I know, and that's the thing. Everybody goes out, and if you guys think that he walked off into the woods barefoot, again, I would please ask you to do the same thing. Start from Stafford Court and walk barefoot in any direction into the woods. Hell, if you don't want to walk into the woods, just try to walk the main roadways. Your feet are going to be tore the fuck up. Okay? And I'm very adamant about that. It really pisses me off that they're trying to get us to think that Sebastian just walked off without his shoes on the concrete even. It's rough, guys. And I want to see Chris and Katie take their shoes off and do it. Hey, Smoking 71, seclusion works. Don't you hold a lunch at QB? You eat at her table, but you're acting like you care about Seth. What gives? Well, Smoking 71, why don't you go do something over at Queen Bee's? Why the fuck are you in here? Step the fuck off. You're not welcome here. What made you think you were? You don't come in here and talk to my chatters like that. I don't care where anybody else hangs out. I'm not like you people. Don't worry about it, seclusion. We all know they're lying ass, vindictive, evil people. SI officer. Good morning, KJ Mac. Yeah, they know they're not welcome over here, those dumb fucks. It's super easy to do. We had kids in the neighborhood do it. Everyone's internet. I had to reset my Wi-Fi and reprogram everything. Really? Oh my goodness. The kids were wreaking havoc, technological havoc. That's too funny. I called AT&T, the internet provider, because I couldn't figure out why we had full signal, but no devices worked, and after much troubleshooting, they explained what happened. Oh my gosh, wow. That is interesting. Have a good day sleuthing, couponing. Thank you for being here. People always want the truth when a child disappears. Sure, unless they had something to do with it. Unless they're the guilty parties, right? And the guilty parties will watch the news and make sure that they're not being talked about. You know, big difference with this situation is that every time Chris is talked about, he comes out and, you know, blows a gasket. As I speculated before, Deborah says, I wonder if Sebastian was transferred before and never made it home. KP has Cam only confirming that Katie never left the house when she returned home before 7 p.m. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, but that they're saying that there was some audio. So, you know. Yes, Detroit. The moon was beautiful. Oh my gosh. Yes, Detroit says, blood moon eclipse tonight. Woo-hoo. I love the moon. I do feel for Bobby too, Lori. I do too. SI officer says to the FBI, yes, I wish more neighbors would. We seem to hit on a concrete wall with local law enforcement and TBI, in my opinion. Yeah, unfortunately, and then the FBI is just taking their word for it because they still hold the jurisdiction, in my opinion. That's what's going on, you know? So. No, MC Rap and Recovery. Bobby does not have Sebastian. Where would she have put him? How would she have gotten him out of the house undetected? Ann Reynolds says, Lady Freedom, when I first heard about Sebastian, the first thing that came to my mind was Susan Smith. I knew right away that she offed her kids. Oh, I know, Ann. That it's a scary thought, isn't it? I mean, MC Rapping, if you think that, like, what makes you think that? Like, what makes you fear that? I know you don't, seclusion. They just come in and try to stir shit up. It's just like that guy, Carl Ferguson. I call him Turd Ferguson. he comes into, another chat I was in modding for, and he's like, "Oh, Seth said today that he has Sebastian." No, he didn't. It's ridiculous. You know what I mean? Yeah, we love you, Seclusion. Don't let anybody upset you. C. Taylor says LE didn't say the dash cam showed them that they made it home, though. Right. LE only said the dash cam didn't show they left in the vehicle that night based on the dash cam. Yeah, I agree. And that was the key there, right? So, and then they also were speaking of Sebastian in the past tense. And I'm like, what is that about, right? Why are they doing that? I wonder if a little state park has any cameras and about around their other side of the bushes at Texas Roadhouse, wink, wink, where Green Hoodie parked. I wonder that too. I know there's a doctor's office behind there that does have cameras. So that would help out a lot, wouldn't it? I mean, having more perspective, having more truth. Why is the truth being hidden? Sheriff Craddock was gaslighting Bobby on the trash truck. Sure was. Gaslit everybody on the trash truck, making everybody think that. Even Seth believed that in the beginning. Sucks. Back in 23, we had Jessica Ridgway disappear on her way to school where I live. Oh, I think I heard about that one, Elisa. Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom says, I'm assuming it was some kids who were running around causing issues, and by kids I mean teens or young adults, but it was reported the same issue from several neighbors, so that was their explanation. Oh, that makes sense, right? Like, I mean, I wonder how many neighbors reported, their cameras being down, so. Oh, I know too, Kiki. She's one of Terry Lynn's as well. I just saw your text scroll down. Yeah, one of Terry Lynn's too. An entire neighborhood and area we're searching. And mods, if you guys have to whack a troll because they're acting up, please do so. I mean, I don't go over there, crashing their chat. Why the fuck are they over here crashing mine? That's ridiculous. In my opinion, they did and stated everything selectively intentional. Yeah, I think so too. Because, even like when Deception Detective was talking about how you have to ask them specifically, like one example would be like, if you ask Chris and Katie, did you go on vacation? And they say no. Well, did you leave your house would have been a better question, right? Because a vacation is up to interpretation by whoever is being, whoever's answering the question. Yeah, you put flyers everywhere. You put the ribbons up. You put the bulbs in your light bulbs outside, right? The colorful ones, like the blue ones for Gannon. I agree, Lisa P. I do. Well, I appreciate you being here and listening. MC Rap and Recovery. Yeah, that was the story, right? I remember that, Deborah. The story is Sebastian was hiding underneath the car because he liked the girl that lived in that house. And then that was found out to be a lie, I guess. Good night. Love you too, Seclusion Works. Thank you for being here. Bonjour. And I hope that you have a lovely rest of your night. Oh, really? KJ Max says the under the vehicle rumor still is making the rounds. How strange. How strange. She was kidnapped walking to school by an 18-year-old boy in the neighborhood. Okay, yeah, I did hear about that. These kids can be very hateful to each other, Brenda says she only got 5 questions because that's how long it took them to figure out she was on something, in my opinion. Well, that's one of the stipulations that they want to know too. Like, are you on any medications, right? Because like some people take anxiety medication. But yeah, I agree with that, Brenda. I do. I agree with that. It's not normal for a neighborhood not to care and not to search or hang flyers. Right. I agree, especially people who, it was said, it was that, I mean, it was said that the neighbors really didn't like Chris and Katie that much. It's said that a lot of people in the town side eye Chris and Katie, right? And we've heard that from people that go over and interview these people, right? It's been YouTubers and people who have said that, right? And they're interviewing people, hey, have you heard about Sebastian? And they're like, yeah, and we think the parents are involved, right? And not Seth, Chris and Katie, right? Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom says, let's face it, is Seth a perfect dad? Probably not, and he allegedly made mistakes, but I don't see him harming his son intentionally, and it's obvious he loves Sebastian greatly. I agree with that. I agree with that, Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom, and see, that's, you know, good parents know that there's something better that they could be, you know, doing. Are you freaking kidding me? Go away, troll. MC Rapid Recovery says, Lady Freedom was the first person I ever heard about Sebastian, and I have a lot of clips that she's spoken on. Thank you, MC Rapping. I appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm glad that people know about Sebastian because of me, right, guys? I do appreciate that, MC Rapping. Hey, Dawn. And I mean, all of you guys that have cared. You know, MC, have you shared some of the clips? I think you shared them. Thank you for doing that. I still have a green porch light on for Sebastian. Me too. Me too, Brenda Calvert. Yeah. You know? You're fine, MC. You're fine. MC says, in my opinion, what I really always have believed was that Katie forgot to put on a pair of shoes. Yeah, I mean, I always think that's the big mistake that Katie made was the shoes. I think it could have been smoking when hasta la vista. It's like, if you're just going to be in here watching in the bushes, like, stay in the bushes if you're going to say rude stuff, and don't attack people in the chat. You know, I don't care if she has a wrench over there. Let her have a wrench over there. What is that? What does it matter? She's saying she doesn't have a wrench over there. I believe her over you. Coming in here causing some trouble. And by the way, it doesn't matter. Everybody has the right to go watch whoever they want, whenever they want. And I'm not going to sit here and tell them who to watch. Your queen bee needs to maybe tell all of y'all that she lied to you. Maybe that can happen. She can start telling you that she lied and fix her mistakes that she's made. Worry about herself over there. Not be sending her creeps over here to attack my chatters. Scranton Strangler says, I can't even walk around my tavern floor without socks. Yeah, much less outside without shoes. I'm very tender-footed. Yeah, and Scranton, you know, like in those areas where it's like super rocky and stuff like that, it makes it even harder, right? And if Sebastian was in the woods somewhere, like Chris says, I'd like for Chris to walk barefoot to the woods where he thinks Sebastian walked to. You know, see how far he'll make it with no shoes on. It's very improbable. Kiki says, but in the interview you played, Lady KP says they called a trafficking something to check in case. I don't know why I never heard that part. Oh, in Chronicles of Olivia, yeah, they told Olivia that she was in touch with Bikers Against Child. Or, excuse me, not Baca. That she was in touch with Truckers Against Trafficking. Yeah. Yeah, they were trying to toot and say, oh, we've been talking to these people, we're talking to these people. Elisa P says, I thought it was weird when none of Seth, KP, or CP had spoken to the public in the first few days of this case. KP and CP didn't talk until day 8. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, Seth came out March 7th, I think was the first time Seth talked. They were trying to get Seth to talk with them, right? Get on the same page. There was a pact according to Seth. There was a pact according to Chris, right? Seth said that Chris asked him, what are you going to do when this goes south? In February, yes. Yes, Brenda. Hey, Vic, good to see you. Lori, I'm telling you, it's like, in my opinion, Scranton says that audio could have been Sebastian on speakerphone or something. Right. It could have been anything. I mean, why aren't they showing us any of it? Why don't they put any evidence out? Even they're debunking the flashlights, right? They don't even put that evidence out. They put an old picture up there and expected us all to say, oh yeah, the FBI. Bullshit. Elisa P says literally years we had those blue lights on our homes, over 4 years. Oh my gosh, and it did take forever, didn't it, Elisa? I really think that her daughter was a hero. Yeah. I do. I mean, she had her daughter riding with her when she had Gannon in the suitcase and threw him over the bridge. Poor little Gannon. Oh my gosh. His little face, I could just see him in his Sonic the Hedgehog. Oh my Lord. Brenda Calvert says, when the trolls start coming in, you're doing something right. You're really doing something, Lady Freedom. Thanks, Brenda. I mean, to attack me. Don't attack the chatters. Like I said, it doesn't matter. Maybe there's things that she agrees with, seclusion. I believe you. I'm just saying, but I don't care. What? Because you hold a wrench in another chat, you're not welcome to come in here and talk? That makes no sense at all. Like I said, I'm not like that. Because look, I'm sure there's things that we all can agree on other than this case. Just because we don't agree on this case doesn't mean anything. You guys are being, completely ludicrous. Yeah, and February is cold. It is cold. And I mean, it was not as bad outside, but still just your feet, Like there's a reason we wear shoes, even if they're flip-flops, which is what I stay in. MC Rapping Recovery says it happened before the dog, the bounty hunter, said that it usually a family member, somebody that knows the family and neighbor, he said. Sometimes it is, and I know they were talking a lot about, I know what you're talking about, MC Rapping Recovery, because I think a lot of it too, they were wondering if maybe there was a trafficking organization. Like they were looking into everything. They didn't only just look into Chris and Katie. I tried to walk down my sister's driveway barefoot because I forgot something in the camper and my feet hurt so bad. And I'm always barefoot. No way. I know. Detroit, it's true though. Like, or even like the little pebbles and stuff. Like, yeah. I mean, in Missouri, it's very rocky terrain. And it reminded me a lot of Tennessee. And just to think that he was walking barefoot, like it's almost like, it's unbelievable, because all the rocks. And he's the son going to learn with them, the cat. I don't know, Oh, well, I know. And the anybody that is a boyfriend, and they tell me you're going to get rid of your animals, I wouldn't want to do that. I know that is mostly somebody that the parent, I know that that's my main thought. However, there is possibilities that, Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. And I was more so thinking that we don't know. But I do think it's all good. MC Rapping Recovery. No, that's what I mean, guys. You can have opinions, please. I mean, but tell me why you think, I'm just, and when I say why do you think that, I'm really asking for real. I'm not trolling you guys either. I'm saying, like, why do you think that? But yeah, as long as we keep it respectful, but don't come in here yelling at someone like, how come you're sitting with Lady Freedom? We're not in high school. People do what the hell they want to do. God, I'm sorry, but that pisses me off more than anything. That is so immature. I thought we've grown up from that. I really did. It's ridiculous. Everybody is allowed to have their own opinions and be where they want to be. But I'll be damned. I don't go into other people's chat and cause trouble. So don't come in here and don't have your people coming in here causing trouble. Poor Gannon. I feel there is no evidence because they don't care enough to collect any. You know, Tina, it's weird because they did do the imagery, right, on the Faro cameras. It seemed like they did a lot, but everything that they did was operating under the assumption that Sebastian walked off. And if you're only operating off of that one assumption, you could miss a lot of evidence. A lot. Oh, is he over the road trucker? I didn't know that, Deborah. I agree. He would have been, well, because remember how Chris was saying the only door he would have went out is the front door. So he would have been caught on the ring camera. But then in the same breath, he did say that too. If Sebastian went out the front door, he would have been picked up on the camera from across the street, the ring camera, you know? I don't understand it either, Holly S. I don't understand it either. All roads lead to Rome, Dog said. Yeah, and it makes sense to me. Scranton says, Lady Freedom, were you able to see the figure walking on the other side of the bushes in that video I sent you? I did look at the person with short sleeves, in my opinion. Yes, Scranton. And I sent it to one of the people that I know that is very good with like photos and has a really great software that she works with. Yes, and we pulled some stills from it, or she did. She sent it over to me today. Yeah, I'm wanting to share it. I'm just kind of waiting to see what comes of these stills and kind of what she can do with the software, because it is really, really interesting what you sent over. And I was like, can you check this out for me? And she was happy to do it. So shout out to her. She knows who she is. Everybody knows that so much crap. Seb did not walk anywhere from the House of Horrors, in my opinion. Well, yeah, Vic. And I mean, one thing Chloe P.I. said that really rang true to me was when she said, if Sebastian did just walk off without his shoes on, maybe he was leaving in a hurry, right? Like that doesn't seem like a planned, exit, right? So... yeah, right, Vic. Thank you. I'm like, geez. Well, because, I don't mind when people talk about me. Look, I put myself out here. You know what I mean? It obviously is going to happen, but don't come after my chatters and don't say things like, oh, if you're in here too, let her go over there if she wants to. That goes for any of you guys. I mean, if I see you in somebody else's chat, I'm not going to completely block you from mine. Everybody's welcome to go where they want. That's ridiculous. That is so stupid. That is so closed-minded. That is so fucking ignorant. Sorry. Excuse my French. Yeah, they tried to play him Kiki, but he's smarter than that. And then also, Seth had to be strategic with these people. These were the last people with his son. And so he had to kind of try to work with them if they wanted to work with him and all of that. I think they were trying to frame Seth in the beginning. They were. And he was too smart to, he saw right through the bullshit, in my opinion. And it is maddening, Bo. It is. It is. Well, you guys, I love you all so much. I've been up here for 3 hours. I want to work on a whole bunch of stuff that I've been working on. But, I've been collaborating with Jen and then also with Jay over at Crime Time Buzz. So I'm excited about these collaborations we got in the mix. And I also have another special one that I don't want to announce just yet, but I'm super, super excited about that one. So I have a lot to do and go over. I'm going to be bugging Hey Jude in the next couple of days. So, but I did want to tell you guys, Monday night, I'm going to be on panel on Crime Time Buzz. So definitely come and check us out. I'm going to try to share it or however we do, we're going to do it. But I'm super excited, really honored to be a part of of the panel, you know, so it's great. I really like doing panels with other people. It's fun, you know, and I get to meet different new people and things like that. So it's great. Thank you, MC Rep and Recovery. Thank you for being here. I know Kiki's going to be up there too. I know I didn't want to say you too, Kiki, until you I was trying to be quiet, but I was like, yeah, I'm excited, Lori. I'm excited. Yes, Holly S. Very awesome. Good night, C. Taylor. It's so good to have all of you guys. Thank you, JH. Good to see you guys. Aloha as well. I wish I knew how to say good night in Hawaiian. I would. But yeah, thank you guys all. You guys are wonderful. It's going to be Monday night, Michelle. So yeah, Tina girl, it's going to be great. I'm excited. We're working on it. Good night, MS. Good night. So yeah, you guys will see that out, but I'm going to try to do, I have a funny video that I'm going to be working on too when I get off of here. So it should be pretty hilarious. And I know I'm getting backed up about my emails again. I'm going to check them as well, by the way. Lori, I believe it's going to be 9 Eastern. So I think that's what we settled on. But I'll be sure to make a community post tomorrow. I have a phone call. I might be off tomorrow night. I might take off because I really want to do deep dives and research before I go up on panel. So but I'm going to be putting some videos out. I'm going to be cutting up some shorts and doing some things like that as well. I really want to get together the Texas Roadhouse transcripts from the phone call with At Night and the Texas Roadhouse owner too. So just working on a bunch of stuff behind the scenes. Yes, and I need to get that out there. Kiki, I was going to make you a video for your birthday. I have it written down. I'm going to add Bo to the mix too, since you guys are both having a birthday. So thank you, Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom. Good night, Deborah. Thanks, Dawn. Aw. Yeah, so I'll be working on that too. You guys will see that. I just got to pick a fun song for Kiki for her birthday. Yes, let's get together tomorrow too, Kiki. That's what I mean. Guys, I'm probably going to have... because, you know, Jen and I are going to want to we're doing a live on Texana too. We're going to work on that. So I'll probably be working behind the scenes a lot tomorrow. If I can come up, I will. But if not, look out for videos. And then you guys could just, you know, check out the videos. Thank you. Good night, Scranton Strangler and Detroit Rock City. Love you too. I almost said love you guys too. Well, you and Bill. All right. I love you guys. You guys are the best. Thank you, Vic. And I'm sorry for the trolling, guys. And just know, look, it doesn't have to be so hateful. Like, it just gets to the point where it's ridiculousness. You know, if you guys knew me in school, you'd know that if you sat next to me, it didn't matter who you associated with. I would still say hi to you and talk with you. I stand up against the bullies. I'm not one of them. So, all right. Love you guys very much. You guys all have a wonderful night, and I will talk to you later. Love you, Lori. Thank you.